This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Hello. Sorry I was a little late, had some technical difficulties. How's the audio? Hold on, let me put it right here. Yes, and let's see. Yeah, crazy times out there, right? Now, here's the thing: is you know, I don't talk about other YouTubers and mention their name, except when you're actually debunking. You gotta mention names when you're debunking a claim that somebody's making. Okay, and unfortunately, a lot of you you're getting tricked by someone who's known to trick people. Okay, so. Currently, right now, you've got on Greeno's channel, he's claiming that, he in 2018, law enforcement asked to use take his phone in December of 2018 because there was somebody interesting on there that they wanted, and that's just it's completely bogus. Okay, he was arrested in 2018 for a domestic issue. He can explain it to you. He's probably done it before. All right, and so they probably took his phone at that time, if it was ever taken at all, to
thank you for
to look through it for the communications he was having with the woman he was with that there was a domestic issue with. Okay, law enforcement didn't get his phone because he's claiming that the intel from the phone actually is why they changed direction in the case. And you know what I think is sick is how many of you watched that shit and believed it. There was 1,600 people going, "Wow, you're so great," and that's what it's all about, man. It's completely bullshit. Okay, and I'm embarrassed that there's so many people that stupid. Okay, really, I'm just looking at it, just going, oh god, oh jeez, oh. Hey, thanks the Silver Leaf, and thanks Diana. Babe. Now here's what the response will be. It'll be some hit piece, where Graz and Greeno they'll come up with some crap, trying to find some comments, because Gray's so mean to his subs, he's so rude to his subs. Hey, listen, I don't care who you are. That's the cool part about it. I don't give a damn who you are. If you say something that's stupid, I'll probably say, gosh, that's stupid. All right? And then the next day, we're on to something else. So I don't give a shit. Now, if you want to go watch all those people, it's sick, man. It is sickening. And I'm really disheartened by the whole true crime thing. Because on this channel, what we do is, people send in super chats and so forth to support my channel and the ridiculous amount of money we send to charity. So if you look on the screen right there, you'll see $41,500. When super chats are sent into here, I send 50% of the net income to various charities, and the rest goes to supporting my channel and allowing me to do 7 nights a week, 3-hour shows. But last night we do a show, really interesting one, on the missing Martin family out of Oregon, and it's just like 200 people watching, just yeah. And the funds don't come in like they normally do on other shows that you do. And it's really sad, okay, because that case took me like probably 16, 20 hours of getting all the files together to be able to go through it in order to see what happened. But it doesn't seem to inspire. It's really sad. I want it to be where no matter what I'm covering, it's the same every single time. All right, now, for all of you that are watching right now, that were watching that show, I mean, it's really just a show. It's not legit what you were just watching. All the assumptions made on there talking about, oh yeah, they took my phone and they downloaded the data, and that's what led to the change in direction. He had nothing to do with it. In fact, I contacted somebody in law enforcement over there. Thanks, Jen H. I contacted somebody in law enforcement over there that I've communicated with, and that's working on the case. And what they said was, he's an idiot. Okay? And that's exactly the truth. That's how they view him. So he has nothing to do with helping in any way, shape, or form in any of the stuff that's going on right now. And if you guys want to believe it, then you go ahead. All right? Because I know it's more interesting and cool and neato. You know, it's sick. God. Embarrassing. Yeah, so you can mark my words that they're going to come out and
as we sell
he'll get all angry and upset, but in reality, I'm telling you the truth. He has nothing to do with anything at all involved in discovering or solving or figuring out the Delphi case whatsoever. And I don't either. The only thing that I did at the very beginning was put together the flow of the crime, and that's the only thing I can claim of any sort. And that they contacted me because they liked the way I was able to put it together, and had they made an arrest, they would have hired me. Okay? That's a reality. It's not like something I'm just making up. Yeah, and so it's so disheartening to watch. Hey, thanks, Jen H. and Candalee Woodwardstone. And by the way, everybody put out some positive vibes for Jen H. She's going through some medical stuff right now, and she could use our positive vibes. So everybody do the prayer hands for Jen H. Really nice person too. All right. I know I'm a little bit behind. You guys are behind me probably by 15 seconds or so. But here's what's really scary. Are the people on there that were like, wow, this is so great, and they're so happy, and just think he's so on it, man, keep doing what you're doing, man, you're really, he is talented at making videos, and, he could get rid of some of the cheesy aspects of it, but he's talented at making videos. I can't deny that he isn't good at just making videos and making them seem interesting. But it's all about the show. It's never about, like, really trying to figure something out. Okay? He'll find a way to make it about how he is the one. Yeah. All right, so I'll play you just so you know that I wasn't bullshitting right there, what I just said, okay? About me early on. And here's another thing too. A lot of people in this chat say, man, Greeno, he's been on this case since day one. That's not true at all. He started covering Delphi a year after it started in 2018. Okay? That's the truth of it. It was not, he had nothing to do with it for a year. Then he was like, wow, I can really try to, and so everybody believes all these weird things that aren't real. I've been covering the case since February, making videos of 2017. All right? And that's just the truth. And you can do what you want with it. I'm just so tired of people that are, basically grifters getting, actual positive vibes from people. It's sick. God, it's sickening. Man, unbelievable. Yeah, so let me just play. I'll play the comment. Didn't make it to our the podcast. We did a podcast from Scene of the Crime Delphi. You guys can go listen to it. It was a 7-parter, professionally done with a narrator, and it goes through the Delphi case in order all the way through. And it was Jess Betancourt, Morph, and myself who did that. Okay, just a second. There it is. Okay. So this is when Morph was interviewing Robert Ives, the prosecutor in the case. So what I just told you a minute ago, I'll show you. He says, "Oh, it was a recorded call. They wanted to know who they." Well, let's hear it. You know, you're just believing what was told you. So I'm going to play, and he said I could play this a while ago. It didn't make it to the podcast because the podcast wasn't about me or anything like that. I'm just playing this to prove what the deal was back then. This is from February 22nd. I put out a video that was the flow of the crime, and I was able to piece together how everything played out based on publicly available documents and videos, and then now everybody goes, "Oh, it was obvious." No, it really wasn't. If anybody was around at the beginning, nobody even knew what side of the bridge anything was on. All right, so just listen to this. Listen.
No, I'm happy to talk. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm in favor of publicity for it any time. As I told Gray, I have a lot of respect for Gray. He got involved creating videos way at the beginning, and I was very impressed with the work he did. Had we ever gotten to a point of having a triable case, I might well have hired him to produce some graphics for me because he did really wonderful work, and he and I have communicated on and off over the last couple of years, and I do trust him. So what can I do for you, Mike?
Yeah, see, so that's a real thing, really said, okay, and that's the the reality that I knew the whole time. I communicated with them on and off, but they just couldn't really share anything because I'm a member of the public. And what they were going to do in my emails was on a phone call that I made with him. I think it was in February 20-something. We talked for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and he said, "Well, we could provide you with better photographical information for you to be more accurate." And it's true. When we were there, my first flow of the crime, we were probably off by like 50 feet here and there because I just did it basically by eyeballing things. And then there was never an arrest made, so then we got Beth to go out there, and Bonnie Rame, and even Julie Melvin did some videos. They went out there, and we were just able to just get it completely dialed in just based off of videos that they filmed. Okay, so that's the truth right there. Okay, I'm not making it up. Well, Gray, you got one of those apps that makes it sound like it's somebody else, and then okay, well, if you want to believe that, then you'll believe that the earth is flat. Okay, yeah, so I'm just letting you guys know right now that what he was just telling you is completely bogus on that show. Every single aspect, well, not every aspect, because some of it's regarding the affidavit, but the claims about himself being part of solving the case was completely false. And you should be ashamed of yourself for just blindly believing crap like that. Okay, that's what ruins the true crime genre, are people that just pretend that they are, like everybody, hey, come here. See, I'm not going to pretend anything. That was just something that was said to me early on. I don't have the information out here to be able to solve the case. Law enforcement does. They're the ones doing the investigation. Now, the public can help too, because there were a lot of people, we already said this on another show, and of course he said the same thing that I said 2 days ago, making it sound like it was a new thought. It's obvious that law enforcement was able to connect the Anthony Schatz account to Libby or Abby's account. I think it's Libby. So obviously there was a connection there, that there was a communication of some sort. Then they what do you call it? Oh yeah, then they did an affidavit on the home. They went to the house and they took the communication devices from the person that built the account, and that's the Kegan Kline individual. Right. Man, I don't know what to tell you guys. People should be ashamed of themselves for getting really excited when somebody, although I have to say that, they're good at tricking people. So you expect them to be putting out accurate information. So it's really, the onus is on them. Okay? That's the reality. They're the ones that you're trusting and you're hoping put out the correct information. Yeah. So right now, we're in a place where we don't actually, I believe that they're looking for other users of the Anthony Shots account. That's what I believe. And also the other user that was on there, I can't remember, it was like Amy or what was it, something, the other account, I can't remember the name of it at this point. Oh, there it is, Emily Ann right there. So there was another account. So it'd be interesting to find all those people, but I believe that there was other people that were using the account. Right. So, and look at it. You know what's crazy? I have an old cell phone, and it's not even connected to anything, but it can still connect to my Wi-Fi. So I'm using that now to stream Chloe and Blue from a phone that's like a Galaxy Note 4. I mean, it's like 10 years old or something. Yeah. And there's Chloe. Oh, Chloe looked up at. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. First, let's take a look back in time at the. There was a story put out right here. This is from 2017, February 25th. This is the same day that the police went to that home. All right, so here's what it says. FBI searched the home in Peru Saturday in connection to the killings of 2 Delphi teenagers. That's because they saw that account was a catfishing-like account and that it had contacted Libby, I would imagine. Okay? That's what I think. And I think that's true because I know I've seen other people comment that they remember seeing the account on Libby's Instagram prior. And there's even people now that have access to Libby's account. You can see a like on there, okay? So here we go. The name of a man who lives in Peru home on Canal Street and came up during the ongoing investigation in the homicides of 14-year-old Liberty German and 13-year-old Abigail Williams, said FBI agent Bob Ramsey. After conducting the search, however, FBI do not believe the man has any ties to the case. We in no way believe he is connected to the murder of those girls. This is the second search warrant that has been served in relation to the February 13th killings of German and Williams. The first one was a couple days earlier, or not a couple days, but like 8 days earlier, I think on the 16th, whose bodies were found the next day near Deer Creek, east of Delphi, roughly a half mile upstream from where they were last seen. Police on February 16th, there you go, also interviewed a man and searched his Delphi home on West Bicycle Bridge Road, but didn't recover anything. Ramsey said, search warrants and subpoenas are to be expected in an investigation process, and investigators will follow up on any information they uncover. We are taking every lead we can and trying to get as much information out that much information out of that. Indiana State Police also released a radio public service announcement on Saturday that asked for the public's help in the case Police have received 7,800 tips in total thus far, according to a tweet by ISP Sergeant Tony Slocum early Saturday afternoon. Anyone with information related to the case, call that number, blah, blah, blah. That was back then. It says FBI searches Peru home, finds no link. How do you know that? I mean, that's kind of dumb, right? Because, it was updated February 27th. So how would they know on February 27th that there was no link when that's actually the day that he handed in his iPhone 5? Remember? It's the 27th. So they wouldn't know the answer to that question. They might have just said that to keep him feeling more confident. You don't know. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through this very slowly again on this document here, because I think there is some stuff. I really want one part of it figured out. It's really bothering me, the part about going to Las Vegas, all right? And the part about his dad, and it's interesting. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do this again. The undersigned says on February 25th, see, that's the same date, the Indiana State Police and Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant. Now I could put it in brackets. Based on information gathered from Libby or Abby's social media account, that an account associated with the individual living at this home contacted, probably Liberty German. Okay, anyway. While working ISP case, the FBI sent information to the ISP Cyber Crimes Unit that an adult male was soliciting female juveniles utilizing the social media platform Snapchat and Instagram. So that's the Anthony Shots account. The adult male was using the username Anthony Shots, right? So there you go. They know that that account obviously contacted them, or they wouldn't be doing this. And here's the thing, everybody. We're doing all this conversation regarding Anthony Shots and this new line of inquiry that they're on. And even with that, it's very possible that it has nothing to do with anything. It might not be related to their deaths whatsoever. And that's the truth. Let me see. I mean, that's the reality of it. We've gone on a lot of different paths over the years, and it hasn't turned up anything yet. And now we've got something new. At least we can hope that it's something. Hold on, I gotta get my background music. Gotta get that background music playing. It's always weird when it's not playing. I'm so used to it now. All right, so here we go. What is Kevin talking about? I mean, freaking wild. I don't know. The FBI sent information to the ISP Cyber Crimes Unit. Okay, so the FBI immediately, when they got on the case, they got that contact information. Then they got a hold of ISP Cyber Crimes Unit, and that an adult male was soliciting female juveniles utilizing the social media platform Snapchat and Instagram. The adult male was using the username Anthony Shots. Subpoenas were sent to Instagram and Snapchat for Anthony Shots account information. Yeah, so where it was probably created. The Instagram and Snapchat returns provided Comcast IP addresses. A subpoena was sent to Comcast for the IP addresses associated with the Anthony Shots account. So it shows you how quick the FBI can get something done. You got to admit, that's crazy, right? How in the hell were they able to, we're talking within 2 weeks, they're already got all these subpoenas, and boom, they're over getting the warrants. And the Instagram and Snapchat returns provided Comcast IP address. A subpoena was sent to Comcast for the IP address associated with the Anthony Shots account, and they returned, that's the address where he lived at, the Kline individual, in Peru, Indiana. The Instagram subpoena advised the Anthony Shots account was registered on July 20th, so 5, 6, 7 months prior to the murder, and the Snapchat returned advised the account was registered on 7/14/2016. Okay, that was the other one. So Snapchat was on the 7/14, which is, I guess you could say, I mean, you got the 14th there, that's the day they were found, but in February. So you got 7 months prior, he created both those accounts. On February 25th, 2017, at 12:30 p.m., the search warrant was executed on the residence by the Indiana State Police, FBI, and the Peru Police Department. So this right here is the father's name, and his son, Kegan Anthony Kline, were located in the residence. All right, at approximately 12:35 p.m., this must be the father, was interviewed by SP Sergeant Kunstek and FBI Special Agent Willman. And then, I don't know why it's like, maybe this is him, actually. I think this might be Kline, but I'm not sure why they blackened it out there. He was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. He confirmed they had Comcast as their internet provider. Well, this could be the father, because I think... No, they do mention his name here, so they wouldn't have... This is the father right here. So the father was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. The father confirmed they had Comcast as their internet provider, and it was a secured network. The father told investigators that Kegan did not use Instagram and Snapchat. Well, that's interesting. Alright, so his name is Tony. Okay. At approximately 1:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Kegan Kline was interviewed by ISP Sergeant Kunstek and FBI Special Agent Willman, I guess. Not William. Willman. Never seen that name before. Kegan was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. During Kegan's interview, he initially denied creating fake social media accounts and talking to underage girls. So the father said no, he doesn't use Instagram or Snapchat. And then at first, Kegan even denied it. And then later in the interview, he admitted to creating the Anthony Shots profile and speaking to underage girls. Kegan told investigators he created the accounts approximately 6 months ago. So that was pretty close. But more like 7 months, though. Kegan stated he talks to girls he knows personally and girls he doesn't know personally. Kegan stated he meets girls on Instagram. He said he knows the age of the girls he communicates with because he talks to them. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Kegan stated if a girl told him she was 16 or under, he wouldn't care and would still talk to them. So that means that they asked him, so what if they told you they were under 16? He goes, I don't care. I'd still talk to them. That's how he said it. Kegan told investigators he finds girls on Instagram and then tells them to talk to him on Snapchat. And see, the funny thing is that could be anybody on Snapchat too. It doesn't have to be him. It could be, hey, I reached, this little network of wackos that, psychos that they're with. He could easily have said to them that, hey, listen, I sent out some feelers here. Here I got a couple people, so go ahead when you log in, see what you can get. I mean, who the hell knows what was going on there, right? During his interview, Kegan stated he was... See, this part, now we're just in this weird place. I'm still struggling with this part. I've been, me and Jules have been messaging or emailing back and forth, but... So right here, I say, Kegan admitted to speaking to approximately 15 girls that were underage and advised he probably received pictures from every one of them. He advised he saved their pictures to his gallery. During his interview, Kegan stated he was effed and he should have left. Now, what does that mean? So what do you guys think? Let me do a poll. Should have left. So, left the meeting. Yeah, well, I don't even know what the other option is. What do you think that means when he says, during his interview, Kegan stated he was effed and he should have left? What does that mean? Can anybody come up with anything reasonable there? That I think it might mean that he should have left and not done the interview, maybe. And he should have left. He's effed and he should have left. During his interview, Kegan stated he's... Now, come on. That doesn't make any sense, Ivy Rose. That doesn't make any sense. I've read this 1,000 times. Just because Las Vegas comes up later doesn't mean it at all. This is one of the most poorly written paragraphs in the history of mankind right here. All right, so you think he should have left town or something. During the interview, Kegan stated he was effed and he should have left town. But they're interviewing him on the 25th right here. Kegan advised he packed another bag. What does that mean right there? Where's the other bag? See, when somebody says, yeah, he said he's going to pack another bag, that means bag has to be mentioned prior at some point. Do you agree with that? He packed another bag. So during his interview, Kegan stated he was effed and he should have left. Kegan advised I wonder if it's he had packed another bag and I don't know. Kegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Las Vegas. But he's saying should have left. So what does that have to do with that at all? That sentence doesn't have anything to do with the left part. It just this whole God, it's such an important part too. Okay, so let's just do that. He advised he saved their pictures to the guy. During his interview, Kegan stated he was effed. And so basically you picture in your mind, he says, man, I'm screwed. I should have left. Then Kegan advised, hey, I packed another bag and I took it to Vegas. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything that was just said prior to that? No, he didn't say that though. He would have said he shouldn't have left. Callie, that's the thing. He would have said he advised he shouldn't have. Let's see. He shouldn't have left Vegas. Is what he would have said. But anyways, he said he should have left. We don't know what that means. Then he says Kegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Las Vegas. When? Because you're talking to him right now. You mean right in the middle of the interview? He packed another bag and he took off. And Kegan returned, but then it says right here, so this is his father right here. So Kegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Las Vegas. Tony and Kegan returned from Las Vegas on February 25th, 2017. So they just got home and they were waiting for them. Okay, so then maybe we can go up here. Kegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Las... I wonder if this is what it's supposed to say. Kegan stated he was effed and should have left. He says he should have packed up another bag and took it to Las Vegas. What about that? See, this right here is should have packed. Right here. Should have packed another bag. Like it's Kegan stated he was effed and should have left. He advised he should have packed another bag and took it to Las Vegas. Tony and Kegan returned from Las Vegas on February 25th. He stated you get what I'm saying? But it's not worded that way, so we're just guessing that that's what it means. And then right here it says Kegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Las Vegas. Tony and Kegan returned from Las Vegas on February 25th. He stated, but then you got this other confusing part. He stated he was going to leave when his dad was asleep. Now that seems to be related to this one. Yeah. He stated he was going to leave when his dad was asleep. Kegan told investigators the main phone he uses is the white iPhone 5C. You see how confusing? Hey, XTY, how about you shut the hell up and get out of here? All right. Bye-bye. All right. So Tony and Kegan returned from Las Vegas on I still don't get this part right here. Then he says he was going to leave. Anyways, so after Kegan's interview, he was polygraphed at the Peru. I don't know. It's hard for me to get by stuff when it doesn't make sense. Because then he stated he was going to leave when his dad was asleep. So why was he trying to get away from his dad and leave when he was asleep? What was that about? Anybody know that? I'm sure it was recorded, but we don't have that. After Kegan's interview, he was polygraphed at the Peru State Police Post by Sergeant Matthew Collins. Kegan and Sergeant Collins spoke about this incident and case. Kegan again admitted to creating the fake Anthony Schatz profile and speaking to underage girls. Kegan told Sergeant Collins that the girls ranged from 15 to 17 years old, and he knew their ages because they told him how old they were. Kegan stated he received approximately 100 sexual pictures. Yeah, so we got that part. This part right here is just the part. It's interesting that something about his dad here. And then later on, he brings up his dad again down near the bottom. Now, the other day I was saying that the Apple iPhone 5C was the only one that he deleted, but he actually factory reset another phone too, right around that same time frame. So I guess that really wasn't the only phone, but all the other ones he just let them look through and they found incriminating information. So you kind of wonder what was on the Apple iPhone 5C that he was using during the time the girls were murdered, and is only one of the two devices that he deleted a bunch of stuff from right during that time frame. Yeah, we just don't know. It's such a poorly written thing, Ivy, that there's no way to know anything about what that even means. So, anyways, lots of not retrieved. Where is he employed, or does his dad fund his tech? I don't know. No, you really can't, Dark Side. We have no idea what he was talking about. He said that he was going to go to wanted to go to Vegas, but he says he should have left, but he's not in Vegas anymore. And then he says they came back from Vegas, and he advised he packed another bag. So here's what it is. Let me go back up. I think I just figured it out in my brain. So he was fucked. Kegan advised he had already. This is what it means. He said he's effed, and he should have left already. Is what he's probably saying. That I should have left already. Kegan said he'd already packed another bag. Well, no, and then it says and took it to Las Vegas. Well, when did you take it to Las Vegas? I know what it is. This should say Kegan advised he packed another bag, and he should have packed another bag and taken it to Las Vegas. He packed another bag and should have taken it to Las Vegas. Something like that. Like should have been right there. Like if you put should have here and put it right here and should have took it to Las Vegas, then it would kind of make sense. Because he already had a bag packed. Okay, so here's what it's saying. He already has a bag packed that's sitting right there at the home, and he was just waiting for his dad to fall asleep to take off again. All right, now it kind of makes sense, but they left out the word should have right there. Yeah, I already said that. No, I don't think it means he wanted to stay in Vegas. I think what he's saying is that look, and I already packed another bag, and I should have taken it to Las Vegas. They had just returned to Las Vegas. Thanks, Mrs. Ryan. Yes. And that's the thing, everybody. If you help support this channel, like I said, I send 40 to 50% of the net income from YouTube, and then any PayPal money I usually kick in some every month to get it to a higher number. And I just want you to see the difference here. We actually make a difference on this channel here. We've donated $41,500 from the income from the channel this year. And if you believe in these causes, like the Charlie Project, $500, RAIN, Violence Against Women, $5,000, NCMEC, $4,950, that's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Libby and Abbey Ballpark, $2,000, last year was about the same, DNA Fund, $22,500, and the Texas EquiSearch, $5,050, the Innocence Project, $1,000. The DNA Fund that we're doing is, that's the one that has 22,000 in it. And the reason we're doing that is because we're using it in counties that don't have the funds to identify Jane and John Does, either in criminal cases or just unidentified bodies that were found, giving their names back. Thanks, Eugenie. Let's see. Then the question becomes, why did he want to leave his dad? I know, that's the part that's interesting, is when he got back, he says he should have taken off. He was just going to leave his dad there or something. I mean, like, what did his dad do in Vegas that when they got home he wanted to take off, right? What did his dad do in Vegas that made him want to take off? Yeah. Let me go to the other one. Maybe he meant that if he had packed another bag, he would have come. Huh? I don't know what that means. He's already back home. Yeah, the only problem is I don't know if it's the holidays or not, but we've got goals that we got to set, and today, the last 3 days in a row have been really poor. I don't know if it's because of the cases or. Thank you, Mama, for. Let's see. I'm sure the interview was recorded. They're not going to play it for us, though. I know, isn't that crazy? Susie Mack, it's so poorly written. I think what they're going to be doing this next week, the Indiana State Police is going to put out another press release or talk or whatever to clarify the stuff surrounding Kegan. So hopefully we get some better information right there. Yeah, thanks Mama for trying to start off a wave there, maybe make up for some of last night. And Susie Mack, Awake and Rising. Yeah. And here's the thing, it's you guys that allow us to do what we're doing. It allows me to do my show every single night of the week. I don't have their ad revenue on YouTube is terrible, and the ad revenue is absolutely god awful on YouTube. You can ask anybody, unless you have 100,000 views on every show that you do. And it's because of the generosity of the freaks that allow me to keep doing the show and allow us to donate so much money to all these different charities. And we also have Jeff S., the guy that helped out in the sergeant of detectives back in the day in San Diego. He's going to send in another $500 to the DNA Fund, and we'll be sending in, I hope, at least $2,500 or $3,000, depends on how this month goes. It's starting to slow down a little bit. Elsewhere would have locked into the Snapchat Insta. There would be. No, I don't think so. They were looking for the account where it was created. Too many jewels. I don't agree with what you're saying. So you keep looking at things to try to fit your story. I can tell. Just got to be a little bit more open-minded there. Thanks, your Gypsy and S friend. All right, so I'm going to get the phone lines open here. So now you can call in and say what you think about that, what you think that means. I think there's a possibility that I mean, this is just not a hypothetical, but speculating here. That, maybe the father has, knows a little bit more, as we were saying the other night. I mean, it's interesting because the father is also mentioned later down where it says that he would communicate with girls and say that he and his dad would have sex with some of these girls, or I don't know why that would make somebody think that was like a good pickup line. It's almost like my lizard eye comment. Really stupid. Thanks, So Kind and Alice Patak. Yeah, do you guys remember that? Let me see if I can look that up. Hey, Mag, how's it going? I wasn't even in jail this time, Mag. What's going on? Thank you, Philly and Cairo. No. So if you just got here late, you should listen to my intro because I'm telling you, if you're believing the nonsense that was put out on that other channel about how he is, of course he said, I really believe it's so. It might not be true, but I really, it's not true at all. It's fake, okay?
Oh, Gray, you're just jealous, gee. What do you mean?
Thanks, Maggie B. And Nona617, Philly, Cairo. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. So there's the phone number up there. Feel free to call in. Let me fix the... I gotta get this thing set up where it's not... I don't want it to... There we go. Oops, shit. Alright, so when you come in, you're muted. And don't allow to do that. Don't do waiting room. Okay. There we go. So there, I think the number should be good up there. Thanks, H. Doc. Doing pretty well, Mag. But I wasn't even in jail this time. Normally you show up just as I get tossed into a prison. Okay. Yes, everybody, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, do whatever you want. But on this channel, you're not going to get fake information. It won't be, hey, I gotta... Oh yeah, and also, don't forget this part. On the same live stream, he said, look at that. I got a call that came in. I didn't answer because I thought it was a weird number from Indiana. But it turns out it was actually the tip line giving me a call. Wow, I'm so important. But then later he said, well, I mean, when I called, they called me. They were calling me because I was tipped in, he said. And the reason he was tipped in because he called somebody else. He called somebody else and said, hey, did you call about the Delphi girls? Or something, whatever. You know anything about the Delphi girls? And they were so freaked out, they called the tip line, and that's why they called him. It had nothing to do with, like, well, let's call him up to see if he's got some really important information. Wow, Mag, thank you very much. Well, at least you still get to listen at night. Hope you like the missing Martin. Oh! Oh wait, I don't think that's working. Hold on.
I miss being with you all. Life's been busy. I hope you're all doing well. Stay out of jail. Smiley face. I'll be listening. Heart.
I'll try to stay out of jail. Alright, sorry, that thing was in the wrong place, so no wonder. There you go. Wow, thank you very much. Very cool, very cool. I mean, he, to their credit, like he's been out to the bridge, like Greeno and, different people, Sullivan, all these different people have gone out to the bridge. and they can go there because I live 2,500 miles away, so I had to have people go out there and film for me, right? And we still were able to figure it all out. So, I mean, he does go out there. He's had some good videos, like, you know, showing the area and people going down the hill and doing different things, and you know, those are useful and valuable. But it's just so frustrating. I can't tell you how frustrating it is, because it's just
Happy holidays, everyone. Heart.
just be truthful to people. They really appreciate that. Hey, thanks, Bree Rice. Thank you very much. Yeah, those tacos make you want to... I'll turn them off if anybody calls in, but I got the number up there. But I want you to tell me what you're thinking. First of all, what that means, what we were just talking about, and what your overall thoughts are so far, because we're going to get another update next week, and this is like the first time in years, literally like 2 years, that they came forward and gave us any kind of information. The number on this screen, let's see, does it work? Oh, I have to move these over somewhere. Put these way up here, tiny. Hey, you guys can watch it moving around on the screen. There you go. That's probably where they should be anyways. And there you got the number down on this one. And I'm all for people doing videos on the Delphi case. What I don't like are when people put out false information for sensationalistic reasons, or you know, just aren't telling you the truth. Okay? And you know, you could say, well, how do you know the truth, right? Well, I mean, the thing is I don't know what happened in the case. Like, none of us do. We don't know who the killer is. We don't know any of that stuff. All you can do is talk about what you do know that's out there. And that kind of gives you what led up to it. And at that point, that's it. I mean, there's nothing else to, you know, people speculate all the time. We had the geo-caching. I always thought that was mildly interesting. You know, because I think Kelsey played the geocaching game, and one of the spots was at the bridge. That's another social media angle. So you never know. Maybe that was part of something. Yeah, and all we have right now in this case is that we know that an account by the username of Anthony Schatz was being used, and it was created by Kegan Kline, and that account had contacted Libby and Abby, or Libby's phone. I don't know for sure, but I'm almost certain that it was Libby's phone, or accounts like the Snapchat or Instagram, and that's what led them to him in the first place. That's why they were there. But probably intelligence over time led them to believe that that account was not only being used by him, but by somebody else as well. And that's what they're looking for, is trying to determine who those other people were. Now, Kegan might not know who those other people were at all. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. Big, whatever the hell your name is. Yes, that's right. That's what idiots call me. Like you. All right, Jimmy? Whew. Yikes. Let's see. Let's see. The caller order is fixing the report at Tuesday, so the ISP saved face. I don't know. That's just what his idea is. I don't think that's what it is. I think there was a reason they put it out late like that. Not because how would the reporter know anything about that? Or so you're thinking that the reporters knew that ISP was interested. I guess it's, I guess it is possible that the reporters knew that ISP was looking into that account and were about to break the story, and they were given a heads up, and then ISP jumped on that first. But it's interesting, because why didn't ISP then mention his name if that was the case? Because his name was definitely mentioned in the article. All right, here we go. All right, 309. 309.
Hi,
Hello.
Grace. This account.
Hey, it's this account. This account.
Hi.
What's going
I
on?
have a sore throat, so bear with me, please. That's what's going on. So I probably can't talk long.
Okay.
So, about the bags in the, I think it was the affidavit, right? I kind of think that there's a lot of redactions, and I'm kind of thinking perhaps there's an explanation about these bags in the redactions that when we're looking at it, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but there's no parts in the where it mentions bag again. So, like even the word bag, you would redact what you might have found in it, but there's only, the bag only shows up once in the document. The word bag.
In the paragraph where we can see it?
No, just the entire 34-page document. Doesn't have the word, it only has the word bag once. So that's why it bugs me when he says another bag. So
right,
like it's like,
so it's a second.
Almost like you had talked about it before. However, he could have just said, "Yeah, man, I packed another bag and I should have left already. I was going to leave during the night though." So that's kind of interesting, Like he could be saying it like that. Like he's saying, "God, I'm screwed. I should have packed I packed another bag and I should have left. I should have left already, but I was going to leave tonight when he was sleeping." That's what it sounds like. Maybe he's trying to say.
Yeah, like maybe after he realizes, like, because he denies it all in the beginning. It's all a denial. And then he further goes on, perhaps they presented him something that says, "Look, buddy, we got a little bit more than just, where he's like, okay, now I'm going to admit." And then he does. And then he realizes, not only should I not stop for this interview, I should have packed that other bag and left. But I was kind of thinking...
But it sounds like he's saying he did pack the bag. Like he said...
Yeah, like he had at least...
Yeah, like he says right here, he said, Kegan advised he packed another bag. And I think it's saying, he said, "You know what, I've already packed another bag. And I should have taken it to Las Vegas." Because right before that he said I should have left. And that's what he's saying is, I should have taken to Vegas. And then it says they just returned from Vegas the same day that they're talking to him. So what does that mean? Like you were gonna come home and then leave within 5 minutes to go back to Vegas? I don't know. It's really strange.
Oh, maybe he means he should have stayed in Vegas. I don't know, but I was just thinking perhaps those redacted paragraphs contain some information there about that we just can't read. And then when he realizes, okay, things are crumbling down for him, he's got these phones and all that evidence.
But the part about the Vegas, though, is the very top. There's hardly any redaction at all. So
it's not. It's fully open.
So that's why I'm saying that I don't know why they, when they would have brought it up again. There's nothing else in the document that's even. It's all about the phones and devices, not the bag. So I don't think we're We're not missing anything.
What was he doing in Vegas? Do we know? Was it just like a regular travel or business, or we don't know?
I don't know, but what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. There's a lot of shady shit that goes on out there. So you kind of wonder, is the stuff that was going on in Vegas, is it related to some of this stuff?
Yeah, and
a convention
leaving
of
in the
weirdos.
middle.
Like a convention of wackos, you know?
I know, it's so weird. Like, I never thought that. I mean, this case is so, like, it's just so awful, anyways. You know, the girl's case and trying to catch this person, and now you're adding in the element of catfishing and then the charges against this guy that he's admitted. Those are just like the darkest, those horrendous charges, you know, that I just didn't see it going that way. And they did. This is something you mentioned the other night, and I kind of thought about that a little bit, how the police, that they really, and I know they analyzed the girl's accounts for, you know, social media networking and stuff like that, that there was a factory reset, so some of that information might have been missing, you know, from Libby's phone. And of course, you know, they're teenage girls, so they're going to have some stuff that, you know, maybe not even social media related.
Somebody else is the one that brought that up in the chat. I don't know who that was, but they said maybe somebody gave her a virus, so she had to factory reset her phone, and yeah, kind of made some sense. Made some sense, but you know, it's like that's just,
you know,
pretty wild speculation, really.
Well, and it did seem like speculation, but the thing is, the guy actually was able to, you know, usually, like, if you're going to try to destroy some sort of evidence, they usually find it. But this guy had the knowledge to do that in a way that they couldn't find it. So I would imagine he and, like, I don't know how these groups meet up, how they exchange information. I'm learning about the Dropbox and kind of how
hold on one second.
That all works.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, there's this Ishta 5. You're lying right now. I just watched it 3 times. He says that he thinks that them getting his phone led to them changing the direction. Don't try to make up something, okay? You're not telling the truth. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I thought that something that you had mentioned, and we've heard it before, and we know that it's true, that, you know, the police will go down every avenue that they possibly have to, and the girls' phones and stuff were looked at, and they were looked in detail that, you know, they didn't believe that there was a social media or a catfishing link in this particular murder, and I'm not going to say that it's this Anthony Kline person, but they now they're signaling very loud and clear that they want to exhaust this account, Anthony Shots, to the fullest. And they're having people call into the Abby and Libby tip line, or whatever order that is. So if you know someone, or if you were contacted by that account, Anthony Shots, please come forward and give them anything that you can. And we know that they're doing that publicly. You know, it's like they've exhausted their portion of it, and they want to make sure there's nothing else. And then finally, when they said that they were looking for information about the creator of the account, this account, Anthony Shots with an S, I always want to say Shots. Originally, I thought they don't know who the creator is, but they did, obviously. So perhaps they're also looking for, what they mean by that is more emphasis on the guy himself, information about him.
Yeah, I think they want information about anybody who used the account to see if there's a different person. But I got this other person. They're on hold.
Oh, you do?
Well, they're sitting here. But what else? What's your final? What do you got?
I don't know. I'll just say it really quick. I know there was some activity with the search warrant with this guy. I had heard, I don't know how true this is, but I have heard there was some activity on the trail near that area We do know that the state police asked for this specifically. They are going down that exhaustion, and so it seems like there may be something more to come. And my last and final thought here is I'm praying so much for these family members. I'm praying for a resolution here. It's going to be great for all of us to see, but for them in particular. And let this be the lead that leads the way straight to this killer.
Yeah.
And a resolution. It's just going to be a fabulous day when that happens.
I want there to be a resolution first for the family. You know, like
Yes.
the family, and just to get justice for Abby and Libby. And then secondly,
Absolutely.
so that all these wacko YouTubers can crawl back to their caves because they cover nothing else. Okay, and once you get
got it.
once you see the reality of what's going on, they'll be like, oh wow, whoa, oh, nobody's watching, and that's just going to be the truth. Okay, I'm just trying to build up a channel of people that want to watch, cover all types of true crime, and I've been doing it for years now. But you've got these, you know, people that are just fly by night. You know, they just sort of only cover one case over and over and over. Whenever there's new news, oh God, it's just 24/7. Like during the last week, I've covered probably 5 other cases and a full-on story about something else. But you know, I've mixed this in quite a few times too. But I got, you know, there's other cases that exist in the world. Everybody, there really are. There's tons of them. Yeah.
And in clearing up who this person is, unfortunately, there are still innocent people that have a cloud of suspicion over them via the public, not necessarily the police, because they're not going to clear that for us, you know, publicly. But those folks have to live a life knowing that people suspect them of, you know, these awful, awful crimes. And in the naming of the suspect and knowing who it is and all that, it will create a relief for them, because that's the kind of thing that can destroy a person, their relationships, their livelihood, and even their families. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. So let's see it happen. I think since it came from the police, this is a big one.
Well, it could just be one of their angles they're going on, but all right.
It could be.
Yeah, we don't know. Hopefully it does lead to something. It could just be that they're trying to get information to see, because that's what they're doing. They're investigating it. They might really feel strongly about it, but we don't even know that. We just know that they want more information. They want more information from people that have been contacted by the Anthony Shots accounts on various platforms, including Instagram and what was the other one? And Snapchat. So there you go. All right.
Yes.
Well, hey, thanks for
call it in if you.
What was that?
If you had it, if you had a communication, call it in, please. And thank you so much for your time, for taking my call. And I hope our next, you know, update in the very near future is the day that everybody is waiting for, and this family can finally get that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for calling in this account.
Absolutely. Thank you. All
right. See you later.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is you really want at some point for today to be actually the day, because every single time Becky, every day Becky posts an image that says today is the day. She's been doing it for 5 years, almost 4.5 years, whatever, you know. 4 years and 10 months she's been putting today is the day. Okay, and one of these days we'll be able to say today was the day, or today is the day, right? Like boom. Or no, today is the day is what she already wrote. So you have to say today was the day, because that means it really was. All right. Hold on. Oh, jeez. Hey, listen, when we have callers call in, I'll get on to the next callers when I can, but I don't want anybody in the chat being disrespectful to callers, okay? when you start put your little Z symbols or next caller, that kind of shit, you just look like really something's wrong with you. I mean, you think anybody wants to see you type that shit in? It's embarrassing. What if you called in and people typed that in? You'd feel bad, right? I thought you made some good points there. All right, so here we go. 317. You're on? Must be from Indiana. 317. Hello. Hello. Hello, who's this?
Hi. This is Bree.
Bree, what's going on, Bree?
Oh, nothing much. Happy holidays, by the way.
Oh, well, happy holidays.
So,
Merry Christmas!
I'm only going to go off my questions
Yeah, go ahead.
and curiosity, because I don't know facts. Number one, to me, I could be wrong, probably am. It almost kind of seemed like him making the comments that he did, bringing up his dad, and I don't know. To me, it almost seemed like he was like trying to like low key, you know, it, like kind of in a way put blame on his dad, like whatever he said about I should have left my dad, or I was going to pack another bag and go right back to Vegas.
Yeah, and you think that's probably what it is, because they had just got back. It sounds like he's saying that he, let's see. Oh, I'm screwed. I should have left, and he already had another bag packed, and he was gonna take off late at night, so he just happened to still be there when the police got there.
I mean, his dad, to my knowledge, ain't the one being charged with all the child crimes either.
Yeah,
but
no, I know, because the thing is,
well,
the account was created at the house, so I guess there's really no way to prove if it was other than Kegan Kline admitting that he did it, but he could have made up something else, because it could have been either one of them, because it's actually an IP address to the house and the Comcast that the father probably purchased. But it's more likely that the kid created it, but you wonder what kind of access maybe the dad had to the same accounts. Right?
And then as far as the Vegas thing goes, I know he was a wannabe rapper, and he's not good. And, I mean, maybe I'd feel different if he wasn't charged with what he was, and I didn't know that before I saw his videos.
I don't think that's even... Is that him rapping in those? I don't know if that's actually him. Somebody told me that wasn't him.
I mean, it looks like him. They look, just like cell phone videos, and, I mean, they're not good.
Not as good as me is what you're saying, right?
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm probably better too, but And then.
Oh yeah, let's hear some. Go on, throw me some bars.
No, let's not. I was just kidding.
Yeah.
No, and then the third thing is, like I said, I'm kind of scrambled because it's a lot. So when we saw it across the news and it interrupted like the programs here, like where I think it was a younger ISP cop showing the pictures and wanting to identify the account. Here's the thing, and it's not about that they already knew the name, but, the pictures in the account, like the better looking man, that's something, and he's a cop too. The pictures that he was using, yes, the guy's a model, but he's also a cop. He did an interview with Fox 59.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they would post that on TV without letting that guy know, because that was something I was able to find on like Google search image or Tiny Eye. And when the guy did the interview with Fox 59, he said that he's a cop himself, had no clue that his pictures were being used for that. But he said it's not the first time that it happened, like where people have tried to catfish with his picture. But he told Fox 59 that he was, kind of upset about it.
Well, that would make you feel bad,
just because
if your picture led to... I think it would make anybody feel bad if you knew that your picture is what led to the bunch of different girls that were sending, new, photographs or videos of themselves doing stuff to themselves and sending it to some psycho somewhere.
Well, right, of course. I mean, yeah, but I think the way that he made it sound to Angela Gannett was he was... ISP didn't let him know first, because I mean you can Google reverse those images, and I mean you'll find his accounts. So he was real shitty about that. And that's another thing is, I mean, I don't know how old his dad is or how electronically smart, or him. You gotta be real stupid to pull that, though. Like somebody who would be so well known with such a following.
Do you have the, can you send me a link and an email to the interview with the, the cop?
Yes. They won't say his name. They said that they're like protecting his name, you know, for his own whatever. But yes, I will.
Okay. Like right after we get off the phone?
Yes, I will. As soon as, yes. Give me a second to find it, because it hit my, like, Box 59, you know, breaking story. And then I think I'm on number 4, and this will be it. Then I'll go on to the next caller. And again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Possibly, maybe, I'm not talking about the Delphi, but just stuff he was doing. I wonder if maybe that was found out in Vegas, and then when they found maybe an IP address, it was in Indiana, and I don't think Vegas can come search Indiana stuff. I know the feds can, but he is charged federally, correct?
Well, I think that type of crime is a federal crime, cyber, you know.
Okay,
stuff like that.
because I'm wondering if maybe he got found out in Vegas, and the way that it's edited, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't know that part yet.
Hey, hold on one second. Hey, Chad, you said Derek German is nowhere to be found. What does that have to do with anything? Can you type in what does that have to do with anything? Because Derek German has absolutely nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to be involved with any media or communicating with people. He'll tell his story at some point, and he'll tell it only to Kelsey. Okay, he has nothing to do with it. So why do you type something like that in? You sound like a total dipshit. Okay. Well, good. Right, great. You sound like you're trying to... I can't stand people that... They sort of insinuate shit when they type it in. Like, who cares? You don't need to hear from them at all, Chad. Just go do your own thing, all right? All
and it's the holidays. I wouldn't want to bother anybody right now. Anyway, it's rude.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people are just so ridiculous, you know? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, my God. I don't know, like... I don't know, like the whole quote-unquote, like, interview, which, I mean, that's got to be edited unless the guy's just a whack job blurring out random sentences, which he could be. It's odd, but regardless, Delphi or not, he's the one being charged with it, so I'm just going to say him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a child predator. Sayonara.
Yep. Yeah, this is just... God, I really just hope it leads to something, and then we'll see these guys. I want them. I mean, you know, when I talk to Becky, she always. It just seems like they just want answers at some point, but they really do appreciate law enforcement. They're not ones that are bitching and complaining about it. They know that they've really worked their asses off on it, and
they can only do what they can with what they have.
Right, and the thing is
but maybe he already knew the girls. Maybe he was
always
stalking
seem
them.
to forget that the FBI was involved from the get-go and put their best people on it, and just absolutely went for broke, and they didn't get an answer. So, what's interesting though is what if this does turn out to be the truth, that it's related, that it'll be an FBI investigation that led to that piece that went to that led to Kegan's home. And so wouldn't that be interesting if that does turn out to be? I wonder why they jumped off of that quickly, or maybe they didn't. You know, so what's weird is we're all sitting here, and we're all talking about, wow, why weren't they on that earlier? Maybe they've been
but they've
on.
got the whole building now that works 24/7 on Delphi.
I was still in the middle of a sentence there. Yeah, so they had
I'm sorry, my phone paused.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they had the... I don't even remember what the hell I was saying now. Man, it was a good point, too. Darn it.
I apologize. My phone cut in and out. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. What was it? What if they've been onto this guy the whole time, and they just finally had tried everything that they could and have now decided to make it a where they need the public's help after all that time. So maybe it's something like that, where they've actually been interested in this angle the whole time, and maybe that's even why they changed some of the sketches and so forth over time, because they've been interested in this, and they're trying to... I'm just so interested in, like, you know, I mean, because it brings into the angle that maybe there was two people, which I've never believed at all. So I'd actually think it'd be good learning for me if it turns out that none of the there was a guy that was there hunting, and that he was just waiting for the right opportunity, you know, and then there was another guy that was actually on the other end of the bridge, and he was over here. I mean, it'd be so crazy if that stuff turns out to be true, because that's all stuff that was sort of counter to what a lot of law enforcement, what they were saying. Yep. So go ahead.
Okay, sorry, my phone paused, that's why I'm just trying to be very careful. I hate these Zoom calls, but, you know, they have that one building now, and I could send you the link that too. And it's just a building in Delphi. They spent a bunch of money just to have this one building that works on nothing 24/7. Mm-hmm. That's the Delphi, and they just did this. I could be mistaken. I think it was just like maybe April or May.
Yeah, well, you think they just got onto this? Because I can't imagine them getting this information so early, going over to the house, raiding the house, getting in there, finding an account associated with them, and then just going, well, yeah. It seems like they would have really been digging into that a lot at that point. So it's weird that, I mean, I guess there are points where you do as much as you can, and then you give up, and then you revisit all of the leads that you had a long time ago, and then maybe use newer techniques in looking at those. So it could be that they dug through their pile of leads and went, you know, let's take a look at this one again, and now they're thinking, wow, was there another person? Because you wonder why they didn't make an arrest. See, that's what I was going to say a minute ago, is why didn't they arrest him in 2017 when he admitted to having these conversations with people? Right? So he admits to doing that. And then you got to ask yourself, well, they didn't arrest him, so did they want him not arrested? And they kept telling the public that, oh no, yeah, social media has nothing to do with it. So that he felt safe again, and maybe he'd start communicating with some of his old cohorts, but he didn't do that. So now they're trying to do pressure in another way. What do you think?
Could be. That would make sense.
I don't know, because why
I'll
didn't
tell
they
you
arrest
what, where
him?
I'd really shit my pants is if his dad or if he wanted the reward money, called in a tip and blamed it on his dad or something. I don't know. Because didn't he say, like, I thought I heard you say, but my phone kept sending out that, like, he said somebody had called his phone and it was a tip line? Something of that sort? Or maybe you were talking to someone in the comments, but...
About what? What was it again? About...
Something, because it went in and out, something about, he had said that he got an unknown number, like an Indiana number, and it was the tip line.
Oh, yeah, no, that was Greeno. He said that the tip line called him, and he was trying to, like, kind of imply, like, wow, they were calling me. Wow, you got to call him back. But it turns out that he called some other person, a number that he found. I don't know if it was in Messenger or something like that. He called it, and he asked that person if it was, like, what do you know about Delphi or something? And then they were so freaked out that they called the tip line on him. Yeah. That's what you think, Chad.
Okay.
That's what you think, Chad. You're incorrect.
Okay, that's odd, but okay.
No, I was talking to somebody in the chat. Yeah, but see, they called the tip line on Greeno. That's why they called him. And when they called back, he explained the story to him. So there was no relevance to it at all. But he tried to make it seem like that they were calling him because they wanted to get information. I mean, it's just such a strange... thing. It's I don't really know how to explain it to people. If you want to, just go look the guy up on the internet, and you'll see exactly who you're believing in. All right. Thank you. All right. So what do you got? What else you got? I got another call now.
Yep. You know what? Happy holidays, everybody. And I think that's all I've got for now. And
Merry Christmas.
thank you for taking my call. Merry Christmas. All right, great. Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me. All right, good. All right. All right. Thanks for calling in. All right. 765. Yep, I can hear you.
This is Ivy. How are you?
I am doing good. So Ivy Rose, right?
Yeah.
That's not your real name, though, right? I mean, like
no, that's not my real name.
Right.
But
so when you say it's Ivy, you should just say Ivy Rose because that's the whole moniker that you're using.
That's true.
I should come up with a fake. I should have done the fake name too. But you know what I actually think? I think anybody that has a YouTube channel or you're even using social media should be required to use their real name, because then you'd get a lot of people doing a little less negative things out there, saying a little something. You know, they're always hiding behind their names. Not saying that's what you're doing, but I've said that many times. But
I would be okay with that, because then people probably wouldn't act so dumb and do dumb things, because they can't hide behind anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are not going to, like, It's a Crying Shame doesn't agree because they want to remain anonymous. But the thing is, there's so many people that are anonymous, and they just say whatever the hell they want to say to, and they create a lot of problems for people. But if they were really using their name, I think a lot of people would actually wouldn't be saying the stuff that they say. Right.
I agree with that.
All right, so what do you got?
So I was looking at all this stuff, and I wanted to explain my Las Vegas theory a little better, and not that it's what actually happened. It was just something I was thinking about. So he's the same guy as the rapper, and he had gone like on the Warped Tour, not as a rapper, but as like a helping hand of some sort, back in 2015, and had worked with quite a few bands that weren't like A-list bands, but you could hear a song or two on the radio every once in a while from them. And he spent a lot of time in Vegas on and off. So I was wondering if he was planning on either moving back for a little while or staying for a little bit more of an extended period instead of just vacation. And him and his dad went up there together just for a little bit. And maybe he packed an extra bag.
Wouldn't you love to know the date? Wouldn't you love to know the date that they went on that trip?
I think it's the 21st or somewhere close to that, based on the social media of his dad's that I've looked at. But I haven't figured out if his dad went up there by himself and met Kegan there, and then they both came home, or if they both went up there together and both came back. Yeah. But I also think it's interesting that Kegan has on his Facebook that he started a job as a blackjack dealer on February 12th, which I don't believe personally, but I thought that was interesting. I was also looking at the charges listed on my case, and most of them are from the 25th, but there's quite a few from the 17th that are possession of child pornography, and then some back in 2016, and then one that I can't find an explanation for from May 14th, 2020, that's for child exploitation, disseminate, exhibit, or offer to do so. And then it keeps going, but I can't, it stops in the middle of the sentence. I don't know what it's saying. So I thought that was interesting, because I'm still wondering, why didn't they arrest him? Like, at that point, who cares if he's a bridge guy or not? He still has child pornography. Oops. So you're going to leave him on the street? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I also wanted to hear your opinion on my thoughts about the probable cause affidavit. I think if you go read like the first paragraph, I don't have it in front of me, I thought I did, where it says, it's in like the second sentence, I want to say, me see if I can pull it up real fast.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Okay. So it says, while working ISP case blank. I'm wondering if that's the Delphi case number. So then it would be while working the Delphi case, the FBI sent information to the ISP cyber crimes unit that an adult male was soliciting blah, blah, blah. And if that's the case, if you continue down to the second page in the second paragraph.
Yeah, that's the part we were talking about.
Okay. So I'm thinking he was polygraphed by, who would that be? The state police about Delphi.
Yeah, Kegan's polygraph questions were based on case. We don't know, right?
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's the Delphi case number.
See, I think it was. Because the FBI, they found this guy while investigating the Abby and Libby case. This account, Anthony Schatz, contacted probably Libby's Instagram. Then they're going to this house to investigate that as a lead because they know that that was a catfishing account at that moment. So they are, I want to know, this officer, the model that they're talking about, when was he informed that he was this back in 2017 or really recent? Because that's
a good question.
If it's recent, then that's weird because that means they didn't investigate who that account at all back then as much as you'd want. Right? Because
well, if you notice down here, I'm sorry, go on.
No, that was it. Go ahead.
I was just saying, if you notice down here, Detective Vito, who the probable report was written by, he wasn't assigned as lead investigator until 2020.
Yeah, maybe they. I don't know. Maybe he just had a different way of looking at it, or they did what I was saying, that they went back through their pile of leads and are going back over this one again, and have developed new intel that perhaps there were multiple people using that account. That's what we're guessing, but we don't even know if that's the reality either.
Yeah, because I'm thinking what happened is when they did a search warrant, they found all that stuff, and they weren't maybe expecting to find all of what they found, but originally they were looking for the account that the messages on Libby's phone that we think happened. They were looking for the other side of that so they could prove this person is there, and it was probably on the iPhone 5C, and they weren't able to find it, so they weren't able to officially tie that person to those messages.
Yeah, well, they were able to tie his account, but you got to say to yourself, he cleared off all of that right after he was polygraphed on the case of Abby and Libby, let's say. He goes straight home and he starts deleting apps from the phone that he didn't turn in to them. You see, that's the part that's weird, is he turned in all these other phones, even another one that he factory reset, but the one that he believed in his own mind had that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were killed. Literally, this is 2 weeks later, not even a day short of 2 weeks, or actually 12 days later. He takes the iPhone 5 and he starts deleting all of the apps and then reinstalling them and then trying to write over stuff, you can tell. And that's the same night that he was polygraphed. Then after he's finally done, he deletes more on the 26th, and then on the 27th he finally then hands the phone back over when he's feeling really sure that there's no information that they can get from it. I mean, that's a little bit odd. You got to admit that one of the phone that he spent that much time, he didn't just to delete things from, was that phone, the one that he was using during the time that the girls were murdered.
I 100% think that he did it.
Oh, you think he killed them?
Oh, not killed them, and I was getting kind of excited about it, but then the video, the guy on the bridge pops up, and you're like, oh wait, that's not him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he does have different weights that he's had, but I don't know. I don't know if his legs were ever that skinny like that. I don't know. I'd have to see. He just got really big mitts, you know, like his hands, and I don't see those being the same. And those and hands like that, they don't get skinny. You know, like your hands always stay kind of how they are.
Mm-hmm. There was one more thing I was going to ask you about, and I'll let you go. And this is kind of way out there, so I'll warn you ahead of time. If you go to where it talks about the Samsung Galaxy S5, which is on page 34. No, I'm sorry, 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I've
that's
read
the
through
phone.
this a bunch of times.
That's the last phone that he had. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, the iPhone, actually, the iPhone 5.
Oh, no, yeah, the iPhone 5, not the Galaxy.
Bring
yeah.
in later.
Right, the Samsung X5.
So the Galaxy one.
See, he factory reset that.
Yes, the factory resetted one. So every device that I've read through in here, it talks about him using like search engines and doing web searches, and then it gives a list of the sample of like search terms that he searched for. But on the S5, it also includes this other sentence that's not included on any of the other devices. It says these searches included information on redacted or redacted. So I kind of wondered if he had also searched, like let's say he is involved in the Delphi murders. He didn't kill them, but was involved, or somebody used his account and he knew about it or something like that. I wondered if he had searched about the murders and that was found on his browser.
You know what's weird is, it almost looks like, I mean, I'm just guessing here. I mean, what do you think this one over here is? Like, this could say information on, God, what is that? I mean, maybe Libby right there? Or something else. I don't know. Before is a sample of terms the user search. These searches including, so it could be a topic they're talking about, but why would you block out a topic?
Well, and that's the only device that it includes that sentence. All the other ones just say there were web searches recovered, and here's the sample of terms that he searched for. So why that one, and why include a topic?
Yeah. These searches included information on something or, and now we don't get to see what those search terms that were used to look up. See, I think these are topics because these are search terms used to look up that topic. See, the internet web searches were recovered. These searches included information on, like,
Well, and if you scroll to the next page, you can like compare what all the other devices look like when they talk about it compared to that one.
Yeah, maybe they couldn't find the internet searches because that's really what that was all that was about, right? These include.
Well, the other ones include a list of terms, but not. It doesn't say there was information about this one topic. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So right here, below is a sample of terms. Was that the first time that it was mentioned above, though, or was that in the middle of other devices?
It's listed like that on, I think, every device that he was able to use a search engine. Like, I don't know if it's on the iPod, because I don't know if you can do that on an iPod.
So even
on all the other ones.
Like the Apple iPhone 3G says, below is a sample of terms the user search using Google. And then when they get down here, so here they specifically mention what they were looking up. God, wouldn't that be interesting if he was looking up information on Abby and Libby on that phone, and he would type in various, their names, or phrases like ISP investigation into, so he's looking up to see what's going on in that case. You think that's possible?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
God, that is sort of interesting because on this one they mentioned that. The other one, it seems like they're just in general having a list of the nefarious terms that he looked up, related to the activities that he's involved in. This one seems like they want you to really, who's ever reading it, to focus in on, these searches included information on. So the other ones, they didn't feel necessary to say that because the searches themselves were obvious. In this case, they're saying the searches included, and then really they're narrowing down in the searches about this particular topic. And these are the phrases he typed in to get that information. So that is pretty interesting. Good catch. Good catch there. Good catch.
The other thing, there's so many things, I don't want to take up all your time, but the other thing was Anthony Shots. They're only asking about Anthony Shots, even though the Emily Ann, there's way more, at least in the affidavit, there's way more Emily Ann messages with people than anything else.
But I think it's because he already admitted that's just another user, right? Isn't it just the same user on the same account though, maybe? And then Emily Ann.
I'm wondering if what they found on the girls was specifically from Anthony's Shots. So then, let's say that he didn't murder them, but he was involved somehow. So I'm wondering if that happened, and then he went to Las Vegas. At some point, somebody gets, maybe like a friend or something, gets questioned by the police, or somehow he gets word that they're looking into him, which makes him factory delete or factory reset his Galaxy. And then when he comes back from Las Vegas, he doesn't want to stay, so he's going to go straight back after dropping off his dad.
Why do you think he would have had the Samsung with him in Vegas?
I'm not sure.
Like two phones, because
weird.
Because he had his other phone, right? The Apple 5, right? Like he had that one.
Yeah.
Too. So he would have two phones with him in Vegas. And then that kind of does make sense. That maybe he heard something because they must have been in Vegas when he deleted, factory reset that phone. And so that's interesting because on that phone he was using it to look something up while he was there. I don't know. It's just so weird. Yeah, that's crazy.
He has some weird business going on, and I can't figure out, because he's such a liar in general. He's one of those people that wants to, he's a greeno. He's one of those people.
Yeah, but he does do the. It looks like he sold pot. He was had massive amounts.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out what's true and what's not quite true coming from him. But the name he had named his Galaxy S5 was Kline Photography. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if that was maybe a business phone and the other was a personal phone. But that's totally conjecture. I don't know.
Yeah, each phone had their own names. I remember reading through that. Yeah, Kline Photography. Yeah, we know what kind of photography you were doing, Psycho.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Oh, so Kline Photography and was factory reset. So that's interesting that he would take the time to delete that or reset that phone while in Vegas, you would think. And then when he comes back, so here's what he probably had: his iPhone 5 and the Galaxy S5 with him on the trip. And well, I don't know, because why wouldn't he have then sort of reset the iPhone? See, it almost seems like he knew something was up, like you were saying, maybe on the 23rd, or maybe he just regularly did that with that phone. You could only probably detect the last time, maybe. So maybe he just regularly used that phone, and then when he got home, he knew that there was damning information on the iPhone, so he claimed, oh yeah, I don't know where that is. I'll have to go find it. But he must have came up with something that sounded reasonable to them. Because why wouldn't you have the phone that you use all the time? Why wouldn't you have the the Apple iPhone 5 with you when the police come into the house? Obviously, he had it around because literally 2 hours after his polygraph, he starts deleting apps because the polygraph informed him of what he needs to get rid of off that phone, which probably included some comments about Abby and Libby. So then he deletes those apps associated with that I don't know, it really makes him seem pretty damning because he deletes a bunch of stuff off that phone that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were murdered. And after a polygraph test that obviously would have asked questions about that, since the FBI's investigation into the Abby and Libby case led directly to him. There you go.
I mean, that's a pretty good hypothesis to me.
Yeah. Weird.
I know I said last thing, but the real last thing, I heard just now while we were on the phone that Reno has now claimed that Kline has contacted him. I don't know if that means now, since Kline is in jail, so it's probably not possible, or back then, because I did see where he said that he had done a search in his messages, and of course something about Kline had popped up back then before anybody else knew.
Man.
But that should be interesting.
Yeah, that's Yeah, I mean, there's little nuggets throughout this document. It's just so, it sucks that it's redacted. I think people are adults.
Oh, I get something new every time I read it.
Yeah, there's all these little tiny things. Or maybe not even tiny, they're sort of, just ways to look at things that might be more realistic. But hey, thanks for...
anyway,
yeah, you got any more?
Yeah. Nope, that's all.
Well, cool. I appreciate you calling in. That was a good thoughts you had there.
Yep, talk to you later. Bye.
All right, have a good one. Ivy Rose. Yeah, so what I'm really saying, I don't care if users out there don't use their real name, because social media sucks, okay? There's a lot of just absolutely shitty people out there. But if you're a YouTuber putting out video and you're wanting people to believe and trust what you're doing, you should be required at that point to use your real name when you're doing your show. Is there any argument why that shouldn't be the case? I think it's okay that users don't. It never bothers me that much. I just think it's, but a lot of times the users who don't use their names are the ones that are the most abusive out there. I don't think you threw out too much gossip in there. Well, one of the parts, but well, it's no big deal. It was a good call there, Ivy Rose. And this account earlier. Maybe he's just real stupid and has destroyed his phone but didn't delete. What was that? Yeah, he probably used his middle name because he's an idiot, Yeah. And so what I was saying about Greeno earlier is, yes, he's created some good videos out there, but he always tries to insert himself as if he plays a big role in the case, okay? That's what you guys need to avoid believing. He plays no role whatsoever in solving the case or figuring out anything associated with the case. He's a YouTuber, just like me. We put out videos and try to help explain what's going on and try to figure things out, but they're not using any of his information, okay? Nothing. Like the other day, he tried to make a sentence where he said, hell, I don't even remember. It was just some crazy thing that he didn't have anything to do with, but he implied it. Does it all the time. And I feel really strongly about this case, and I don't want people to be deceived in any way. All right? Just look him up. Make your own decisions. He has his own explanation for everything. It's always somebody else's fault. But the truth is out there, and that's it. Okay? I've never been arrested for anything. I know it's really boring. I'm not a criminal of any kind.
But Gray, you're mean to your subs.
Okay, well, I'll take that over being a liar any day of the week. Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. 385. You're on. 385.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
Oh, I'm Aaron Kruger. I've never called in before, so pardon me if I don't do anything right.
Oh, it's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've listened to your show for a while. I'm just wondering, this might be a controversial question, but who do you think is, like, the worst, like, spreader of disinformation, like, on YouTube or elsewhere?
Who do you think the worst spreader of misinformation is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is here's the thing. Like, I'm not saying Greeno spreads a whole bunch of misinformation all the time. What it is that what he when he's insinuating himself. Like, I think he knows the general facts of the case well, you know, but he spreads information about himself that's just not true at all. None of it is. You know, he said he had millions of subs on YouTube one time. That was never true. There's thousands of things that he said. Now, the people that spread the misinformation are, a lot of times, they're the people that you would think would be the most credible people out there. You know, but here's the worst part about it is, because of their name and what they've done in their past, like if they were a retired detective of some sort, they put out something and it's totally bogus because they didn't do their research and they don't really know it, and they just wing it and say something. It's more damaging than when one of the fools say something, because they're expected to be accurate and they have a higher just immediate belief in them, right? Like, people are just, oh yeah, well, they're a retired detective, anything they're saying is absolutely going to be true.
Yeah, certainly. And I think it gets worse when, like, you know, like, there's not a lot of information released on the case, like, so everyone feels like starved for information and stuff, and so, like, there's all these people who, like, want to make things exciting again, so you, like, get these people, like, putting their fake bogus leaks on the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people just sort of take it as gospel. Anyway,
yeah, well, I always call it, the term that I invented, it's called sub-mining. You know, S-U-B-M-I-N-I-N, you know, like basically it's a gold rush, right? So, you know, Delphi is a stream that had gold in it for some of these YouTubers, right? Like, they're going, oh yeah, I'm going to cover every single day because people keep coming back. And then it gets cold for a while, and they don't really have anything to do. But then a new part of the stream opens up, and they run over with their sleuth box, and they just start churning out whatever it takes to get as many subs and viewers as possible. Okay? So they'll say whatever the hell it takes to get more people in, like creative titles that are misleading, that make you think that, like, it'll be like, case is solved, and then in small print, hopefully. You know, something like that.
Yeah, and it really, like, it hurts the case, and it's like, you know, it's kind of disrespectful to the families, like, sensationalizing everything and, like, trying to just, you know, basically profit off of it. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your thought. I mean, I don't really, there's so many that put out false information, especially like in the Summer Wells case, or the, even like newcomers in the Delphi case. They'll just put out whatever garbage that seems to be working that day. And the thing is, true crime is a genre that has to be treated totally different than the gossip. There should be no such thing as a gossip true crime channel. It's completely bogus. It should be treated, this is just my own belief, should be treated with respect, meaning that you go through, get as many facts as you can, and then when facts change, sometimes they do change, like they'll say, hey, that was wrong, or they change something, then you evolve any theories that you have with that. You don't stick with what you wanted to believe in. You keep moving with the facts, and, as you know, if you do that, you'll be a lot more accurate in any sort of speculation that you might have. You'll be very accurate if you stick with the facts.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, like you said, you definitely have to treat true crime differently because, like, there's like actual people's lives. Like like when you like accuse someone of being like the person who did it, like that can ruin their lives. And like, so if you don't have like good evidence, or like if you're just like sort of have a hunch, you know, and also like the lives of the victim and their families, like it's not like some other thing that's not important. Like, this matters.
Yeah. No, I agree. You know, and I appreciate you calling in. You should do it more often.
All right. Yeah, I think I will. Anyway, have a great one.
I know it's sort of hard the first time. I mean, I've actually called in radio shows and you're just sitting there. But really, you're just talking to I'm just a regular person. So you're just talking to me, and you just happen to have, I don't know, maybe 500 people or 749 people listening to you at the same time. Not to try to make you nervous, but yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah. Have a great one.
You too. Bye. Yeah. It was a good call there. Yeah. 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 So I hope you guys know what I'm saying here. I'm not saying. I mean, with Greeno, he puts out. I think he knows the case pretty well. He does claim certain things like, oh, this one person walking a dog is a witness. We don't know. Okay, there's no video of her talking. We don't know any of that stuff. So I always take that with a grain of salt coming from him as a source. And so, you know, but he seems to know like the timing of stuff. He's finally learned it all after we got it all figured out. Got the timeline set through interviews. I put it out there a long time ago. Took them a long time to even realize that the 6th platform wasn't where Libby was standing when she filmed the suspect. Okay, that was even just like a year and a half ago. It was like, wow, man, we knew that 4.5 years ago. So, I don't know. It just is what it is. But when somebody starts claiming that they're involved in, you know, like, we solved the case, they better have absolute proof that what they were doing led to and helped in the investigation. Yeah, he makes good videos. That's the thing. I mean, he makes like, you know, he's pretty quick and good at editing. Other than that, though, he doesn't, you know, the analysis part, figuring things out. No. So, and when you hear these grandiose claims, you're being fed a bunch of crap. Oh, I had millions of subscribers. Oh, I'm going to start my own network channel on. You know, it's garbage. All right. Now, hopefully, he's trying to change and be different. But when you see stuff like that, you realize the same old shit's still in the background. Let's see. Yeah. Well, as you guys can see, every single time on this channel, when we donate money at the end of each month, I show it on the screen. Now, tomorrow I've got to call in and get the check that we had to send in because they were taking 6% out of $3,000, which is actually a pretty big number. You know, so we don't want to lose that. We've sent in, and that's to the DNA fund. So I haven't heard back yet from that. We sent it in on the 30th of November, and I haven't heard back, so I'll check in. And then Jeff S. is sending another 500 in, so we should have the Addison County Doe case completely wrapped up in terms of financing. You guys, for those of you who haven't heard about it, we didn't solve, but we paid for the solving of the Bibb County John Doe, 1961 hitchhiker who was in an automobile after he got picked up, and the car went off of a bridge into the water. He drowned and died, but nobody could figure out who he was, and they gave him a great burial and everything. But it was in a small little town, and they didn't have the funding. So from the income from the channel, made possible by the freaks, we paid for the entire funding, $8,000, And it took a year, but they finally identified him as Daniel It took a year, but they finally identified him as Daniel Armentrout. He had ran away from home, and he was heading to the West Coast or something to become join the military. He's only 16 years old, but we were able to give his name back. And there's another case that we've funded, but that one's it's a criminal case still being worked on, and we won't know anything about that till later. Then the third case that we're funding right now is the Addison County Doe case, which is a mother and 2 children. One children's been verified, the other one was undetermined. And they were just found killed, right? And so they were never reported missing. So guess who the likely suspect is in that one? And the year of that is 1935. That'll be incredible. When that one's solved, it'll be freaking nuts. So there you go. So we prove and show everything on this channel. I show all the donations that we make. It's real. It's a real number. I know it sounds ridiculous, 41,500. But last year we did 22,000. This year's 41.5. We're hoping to get to 44, maybe. At least 44. We've already done 500 this month. And that means next year we'll have to do 34 only to get to $100,000 in a 3-year period of time. That's pretty nuts. I mean, like, then I think, shit, I could have paid off a house with that. Darn it. But you know what? This is more important. So there you go. Yeah, you can put a message in a super chat, and I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, it's so crazy that you can use that old phone that I had, found in a drawer, to do this. Yeah, so on this channel, we make a difference no matter what. I mean, I could literally sit and, what is it? I could stare at the screen all day long and do this. Where is it? Oh, this one right here, hold on. Yeah, so I could literally do that all day long, and we're still going to make a difference because we have sent so much money into places like NCMEC and and RAIN, which is violence against women. Oh, it's really cool. Go look it up, you guys. Go look up the Bibb County John Doe. Try to find, there's an article that was on the New York Post that actually mentioned the channel. And then there was in my video playlist, there was a press conference where I was on and I got to speak and, talked about how amazing the freaks are and how great it feels. It's probably the best feeling I've ever had. There's two times. The other one would be the DJ Ficky case, where I made a video proving that it wasn't a suicide over and over and over. I mean, it was just clear, and then sent it in, and then the detective called me like 2 months later, before even the family, and told me, hey, we've changed it to undetermined. And so I know I made a difference in that one personally, making a video, and we as a channel, hey, welcome, I am Veritas, have made a difference, a tremendous difference on, every day, throughout the months of the year. I mean, we usually donate some money during the week, and at the very end we have a final push and a final donation night, and this month will be no different. So boom, there you go. When you send in super chats to this channel, you'll always know that a good portion of it, and when I say good portion, it's 40 to 50% of the take-home income from YouTube goes to charity. Let's see. Now, it's probably good, Lily Shaw. You probably shouldn't. Yeah. Does he think the girls were moved as drone and search? Well, let me also show you. So, Derek was there to pick up the girls that day. So we've told the whole story a million times. You can go back and watch. They were over here at Becky's house doing stuff for Becky. Then at about 12 o'clock, 12:30, they decided they wanted to go to the bridge. Now with the new information, you wonder if that was something that was planned. And then Abby and Libby were given a ride there by Kelsey, and Derek was going to go pick them up. Derek went on this route, went all the way down to Frankfurt down here to take photographs for Becky's appraisal business, and would be back in an hour and a half to 2 hours. All right, so the girls had, when they got to the bridge, would have basically an hour and a half to 2 hours to hang out down there. So they got dropped off at 1:37 right here. And, we've seen all the rest of it. They walked down the trail. They took a photograph on the bridge here, just past platform 2. And then another one on platform 3 facing back that way. Then they made it all the way to the end of the bridge. That's where they filmed the suspect walking by. Is about right where that is right there, between 58 and 65 feet away, right there. And then they were told to go down the hill, and then over on this side is where their bodies were found. We don't know if they ran across and were caught or were forced to go across, and they were found. But then Derek arrived at 3:14 right here after passing over the Wilson Bridge right here. At 3:11 he tried calling, there was no answer. Then at 3:14 he made it to right here and called again, there was no answer. So then he was worried, got out of his car, talked to a guy in a flannel shirt right here. The flannel shirt guy said that he had saw a couple by the bridge, not below it, under it, or anything like that, just by the bridge, and that the couple was, it was a man and a woman, and it turns out later that it was a couple that were cheating on somebody else. All right, so anyways, he told Derek that. So then instead of Derek then, reinventing the wheel, as it were, walking down here and looking for himself, he went down this path right here, and he probably made it to the bottom by, and who knows, probably took 5 minutes to get down, and then maybe 7 minutes to get down, 7 minutes to get back up, and then at 3:30 he was back in this area calling people to say, hey, I don't know where the girls are. And then he walked this direction to the Freedom Bridge, and then he got back here at 4 o'clock here again. And then all the people started showing up, all the family members, and they really started searching all over the place. Even Kelsey went across the bridge with their what's that nephew name again? Got it, Cody. With Cody, they went across the bridge, and even at that point she saw some scuff marks going down, but didn't think anything of it. And interestingly, apparently the killer was in the area of the bridge for 20 minutes of the time. So he was in this area of 20 minutes of the time that Derek was searching. So that means if Derek got there at 3:15, rounded up, that means at 3:35 the killer is still around. But look how crazy this is. So when he's walking down this 505 trail right here, it's possible that the killer had made it back onto the path up here somewhere, and then walked around and got back to it, maybe a vehicle that was parked over here at the abandoned CPS building. And what that means is that if Derek had gone this way or just that way, he might have ran right into him. But for just an absolute miracle, he went down this direction. Now, we don't know now. You sort of have to look at other things now, that maybe there was a different person. I still think there was just one individual that was out there. But it is possible that there was two. And they even said that. I think I can play. I have an old interview, if I can find it really quick. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm going to listen to the David Burston interview again. I think his name is David. Was this David? I know it's Burston is the last name. Scene of the crime, Delphi. And then we've got clips, background, episode, interviews. That's different. Yeah, so we have the full interviews from Ives. I wonder if that'd be interesting to listen to again. The full interview of him. He was pretty candid about a lot of stuff. Oh, there it is. No. Interviews. Music. Huh. It's weird. I can't find the... Oh, there it is. Press conferences. Process. Okay, he's not on. It's not in that one. Let's see if he's in this one. Don't have that one. Here, let me go out to the Indiana State Police. Because they were doing a podcast for a while there. Remember that? Yeah. So how far back does this go? Yeah, this is going to go way back there. All right. So I got to go back 4 years. Yeah, they got a ton of stuff on here. Yeah, they did a couple shows on Delphi, for sure. So 4 years ago, we're getting there, getting there. Man, they got a ton of videos on Delphi in there. Shoot. How do you spell? Is it B-U-R-S-T-A-N or Burston? No. Anybody know how to spell his name? I could find it quickly if I could get that. Go ahead, type it in. Is it Bursting with a G at the end? Who are you talking about, man? Yeah, that doesn't come up with anything. I don't think that's how you spell it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that didn't seem to work either. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, true crime bloke? Who said, who's he? Who are you talking about? Yeah, it's okay if if somebody wants to type in Greeno's name today, unless they're going to make up lies, then it's okay because I mentioned his name. All right, so if they want to have a conversation, normally, we don't do that, but it just is what it is. Oh, is that the video? Okay, let me get... Oh, shoot. God darn it. Pop out chat. Shit. Ah, man, that link, putting a YouTube link in the chat is bad. Hold on a second. All right, got that. Oh, now I gotta go put this down here. Ah, crap. That wasn't the right one. That was the one I meant to put in there. There. I think that works. Right now I gotta go up and get that link again. Yeah, that doesn't work. That link that you gave me. You're missing some letters at the end of it. I can see it. There's supposed to be 11. Let's see. Well, maybe you do have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh. Let me try it differently. I think that does work, but I gotta go to a video and replace it. Okay. Pause that. Put that in right there. Okay.
This is my partner in crime,
There we
Tom
go.
Trial, behind the camera, behind the scenes, back in black. He's back putting this on YouTube again after his extended stay off of the air. I think he was actually on
Okay,
vacation.
don't say his
Captain
name in
Burston.
it.
I think it's probably
Captain
the vacation that none of us would have wanted to have taken.
I know somebody that didn't want him to take it, Shelly. Shelly, his wife, said you didn't need to be doing that. But I'm glad he's back and he's 100% ready to go. Captain, thank you for being with us today. Captain Dave Burston, the Public Information Officer of the Indiana State Police. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate the invitation to be here.
And unfortunately, we've got a sad time.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've told people I don't want listen, if I want to mention another channel's name and give them props, I'll do it. But when you got clowns showing up in here trying to pump up some jackass channel, I don't want you to do it, okay? So I don't want their comments in here. We don't talk about that. I'm only bringing up Greeno today because what he told all of you guys is that he somehow was helping out in the case, and how, like, he always words things that, they sent him. The Indiana State Police today sent me a notification. Well, they sent everybody a notification. It was out in a video. You didn't get shit extra. You're not special. There's nothing that you're doing that's helping. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell. Now, you're helping by getting the story out to other people, sure, but you're not helping the investigation behind the scenes like you insinuate all the time. That's the truth. Okay? It's not happening. All right. So my mods are doing exactly what I told them to do, and that's what it normally is. But I don't mind if you want to bring up the guy's name today because I was talking about it. All right? There's the difference. No, hey, true crime bloke, you got it wrong, man. You're absolutely wrong. He called somebody else and they tipped him in. So it's crazy.
Topic that we're going to be talking about today, but I think the more we
Man,
can
you
get
guys
this
are
out,
suckers,
the more information
man.
that
It's
people know
amazing.
about and see and hear about this can help out.
See, that's what I knew. Crime geek, you're a total dipshit if you believe that. You're an absolute idiot. See you later. All right, bye-bye.
On this investigation, and we're talking about the obviously the double homicide there in Delphi. And
You know what's weird about the people that watch his channel? They are so enamored and believe it. That's the scary part of it. Absolutely crazy.
the unfortunate death of those two little girls.
Yeah, very, very sad, very tragic. I know that now we have a reward.
Who uses the word lovely anymore? Wow.
That is well in excess of $200,000. We are still looking for tips. We've received 8,000 plus tips. Those are still being looked at, each one of them. Some of us, I know, are getting tips sent to us directly. We kind of discourage that because that can slow down the process, but we're not going to turn away the information. So we are working diligently to...
Well, no, it's okay to use love. I mean, in the way that it was used. Like, you're a lovely person. Yeah, come on.
To solve this.
Well, let's start at
I know
the very
people.
beginning.
My mom uses
What we
lovely.
do know,
A lot of people use lovely.
What took place. I know you've been involved up there with
it's okay,
Sergeant Slocum and Sergeant Riley, the PIOs up there in Delphi, and have firsthand knowledge of what's going on and during the news release during the news conference with Superintendent Carter.
Yeah, like here's an example, everybody. I'm going to tell you guys this example, and it's true, and I proved it on a show a long time ago. So early on, people were interested in Garrett Kurtz, and somebody sent me an image that showed a horse that was in one of Garrett Kurtz's photographs, and actually was a horse that was on the property of Ron Logan, which is the same property that the girls were found. So we did a whole video on it, showing the horses, and there was a couple of them, and I was doing a show, and during my show, Greeno texts me, "Hey, Greg, I got some information. I got some information." And then he goes on right after that and does a show exactly on the exact same topic and pretended he had thought of it too. It is so sick, everybody. And he never admits it. I have all the timestamps and everything that proved it was completely bogus what he was telling people. He was like, "Yeah, great, let me work with you." Because he knew it was kind of an interesting story. And so he needed to jump on the bandwagon, instead of just trying to figure out something on his own, or when he covered it, give credit to the people who actually put it out there. I even gave credit to the person who sent me the information. So, man, you guys are just dealing with you guys just don't get it, man. I'm telling you.
Walk us through from what we know right now, from the very beginning.
Well, we know that one of the parents dropped off Abby and Libby, best friends, to go on a walk in the trail there by the Monon.
Nobody's pushing anybody away for asking questions, True Crime Bloke. Okay? And would you just quit your nonsensical rants? If you want to talk about the case, that's great. But what you're talking about is boring and ridiculous. Okay? You're not even accurate because you don't know what's going on. I've been doing this case since February of 2017, and I've seen all the whack jobs come and go, and the same people who put out absolute nonsense over and over and over again. If you don't want to be on this channel because of the way I am, just don't watch. I don't need to know your opinion, okay? Go do something else. Jesus, what a
railroad
dipshit.
Tracks that have been abandoned, and over the high bridge there. And the plan was to drop them off and pick them up later. And they did not arrive at the appointed time. And, initially, okay, maybe they're just the Monon.
All right, so I'm going to start this over again. And maybe it's because you are one True Crime Bloke, okay? I saw you over there. You're insane. Okay.
To go on a walk in the trail there by the Monon railroad tracks that have been abandoned, and over the high bridge there. And the plan was...
Yeah, no, I watch everybody else's videos. I mean, not on this case recently, I watch the videos. I don't watch them during the months and years. During this one, I've gone over and watched some live streams, and I'm just befuddled at how enthralled people are at complete nonsense. It's embarrassing. Okay, for example, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Okay, True Crime Bloke. I have contact with somebody in law enforcement in Delphi. Okay, one of the people, one of the, people that actually are investigating the case. And I told him what Greeno stated, and they replied, he's an idiot. Okay? So, you can take that for whatever the hell you want, but it's the truth. It's ridiculous. It's not true what he's telling you. And, I think my phone, I think when they got my phone, It led them, helped them down the road to reopening the investigation, changing directions in the investigation.
Was to drop them off and pick them up later, and they did not arrive at the appointed time. And initially, okay, maybe they're just having a good time out, going to be a little late, but then it goes from being just a little bit late to hours late into darkness, and now true concern about what's happened, what's transpired, and then results in a search the following day. And volunteers that were searching found their bodies. And then we knew that we had a...
Well, maybe he is smart, and but we're not here to pump another channel again. But maybe he is smart. But if you were that smart, wouldn't you look into somebody that you're actually trying to partner up with and try to get your name out there? Because later on, it'll be like, wow, that's the guy that helped you start your channel?
A double homicide investigation. And then moving forward from that point, of what information that we can publicly share, information that we can't share, because the ultimate goal is to find the person or persons responsible for this horrible crime and to hold them accountable. People talk about giving closure to the family. I look at my son, who's almost 18, and if something like that happened to him, even if the person's caught and held accountable and given the death penalty, and I get to watch the execution, there is no closure.
Right. Absolutely.
There's no closure. Yeah. Anybody that's a parent,
boom, no closure. See,
that losing your child, there is no closure. So, but the only thing that we can do is make sure that this person or persons cannot do the same thing again.
And this is kind of a popular place for people to go to walk. It's very, it's kind of remote, but a lot of people use it.
I think it's something that's locally known and is popular. There's the historic bridge. The tracks, as I recall, were decommissioned in 1985. The rails were pulled off the bridge, and it's 65 feet above ground.
Hey, hold on one second. Where did you get that? Where did you just timed out that account, D&K Reck? Where are they? I can't see them in here. It must be that I'm blocked on their channel, but I don't have them blocked. Is that the account, or is it somebody else? I can't even see that one.
Ground, I believe, is what I was told. Is it
65 feet up in the air?
And it's a popular trail area to be walking, and it's by all indications, it's
this guy
a nice,
should read
peaceful
books.
area to take a hike. And now we have this happen, and it's
well, I can't see what he's
never
saying.
going to be forgotten for what happened there now.
Because I don't have him blocked. He has me blocked.
Their lives.
Let's talk a little bit, and you and I were discussing this earlier today before we went on the air, and we've received questions on this, and I know you have. Is there some information out there that we're not releasing?
Oh, there certainly is. And often people ask that they're not involved in law enforcement. Well, why aren't you releasing everything? And sadly, I have to sit here and tell you, I know you know this, but people that are listening or watching today, there are people that will call up and they will claim responsibility for crimes. Or they will call up out of a want for attention, and they will give what they say they have this solid tip information that they want to provide and share. Right. And they've gleaned it from what's been released. The example that I often give, I said, imagine, if you will, that we go to investigate a burglary. And we get there, and then we find out actually it's been a homicide. And the person was killed because they were stabbed twice in the back, and they were hit in the head with a lead pipe. If we release that information, then the tips we get all have that same information. Whereas if we don't release that information, and then we get a tip that says, yeah, I was at Joe's Bar and Grill. I heard this guy talking about how he had broken into a house, and he stabbed a woman in the back twice and hit her in the head with a pipe. Well, if we've not released that information, we get that as a tip. We know, hey, this is some good information.
Right.
Well, there's specific information in this investigation that we're not releasing that if it comes to our attention, we're going to know that's a good tip. We need to really pay close attention to that. Now that's
all right, you guys. Here's what. Let me show you that this is who Greeno really is. Okay, I'm going to show you his screenshot. All right. He said, let's see. Who are you talking about? Whose fiance? What are you even talking about? See, he's threatening. This is what you get with Greeno. Okay, so let me show you right here. This is the kind of comments that he makes. He's not what you guys think he is. Right. So right here, he says. Let me show you these. Hold on a second. Right here it says. I have to move it over. Right there. There he is. You know what that is? My fiance. Whose fiance? Who are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Who talked about his fiance? I don't even know he has a fiance. Okay? What fiance were we talking about on the show? Then he says, and you are an absolute bitch MFer. Keep my name out of your mouth before I come smack the F out of you and your bitch ass. You know, and then he threatens my wife. What a dipshit, right? Then he says, hear me, mother effer. F with me and I find out, bitch, you jealous effing cock. Yeah. So that's Greeno right there. That's how he talks, right? Isn't that weird? So imagine what his fiance has to deal with on a daily basis. And go look up the two crimes that the felonies that he committed in 2018 and the other one in 2020, and you'll see how it's related to exactly that and why I donate to RAIN, a violence against women organization. All right, awesome, excellent. All right, now back to Burston.
Said, we're investigating every tip, and there's been over 8,000. We are not going to rationalize away a tip without thoroughly investigating it. And that's what we're telling people. Don't assume, don't make an assumption, oh, this couldn't have been it.
Right.
So what information do we have? What have we released? We've released the audio tape.
My eyesight, baby. Come on,
saying down the hill, down the hill. It's a distinctive enough voice that somebody that knows that person.
So I think this is where he says some stuff that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
We've released the audio tape that says you hear the voice saying down the hill, down the hill.
I've never talked to. I don't even know who his girlfriend is or anything. Never mentions her name once. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
It's a distinctive enough voice that somebody that knows that person could say, boy, that sounds like fill in the blank of the name.
Right.
Those are the people we don't want you to rationalize away that thought, oh,
yeah, I'll send
Bill
that to
can
law
never
enforcement.
Do that. Call
violent threats from a violent felon. Let's see how that goes over.
Tell us. Let us go talk to Bill. If Bill can validate where he was at that time, and we can rule him out of the investigation, that will happen.
Thanks, Karen.
But if Bill can't do that, and we find other inconsistencies that indicate that he's possibly a valid suspect, then you will have helped us solve the crime. Don't rationalize.
What about suspects suspect as opposed to suspects? Has that been addressed?
What we have publicly addressed is people want to make the assumption that the voice saying down the hill, it belongs to the person that's captured in the image from the cell phone. That's not necessarily the case. We're not making any assumption about that. We have more video.
Yeah, see?
What we have publicly addressed is people want to make the assumption that the voice saying down the hill, it belongs to the person that's captured in the image from the cell phone.
Yeah, so he's implying there might be two people in this one.
That's not necessarily the case. We're not making any assumption about that. We have more video. We have more audio. But it is specific to the investigation, and that's why it's not being released at this time.
Well, again, you're listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. I'm speaking with Captain Dave Burston of the Indiana State Public Information Office, and we're talking about the senseless crime that happened there in Delphi, Indiana, to Abigail Williams and Liberty German when they were senselessly killed up there in Delphi. Dave, you were talking earlier about not releasing some information, and I know the public may have a hard time believing this, but there are people, and you kind of skimmed over it, but maybe address a little bit more, that do call in and say, yeah, I did this.
Yeah, the people do that, and They will call up and take responsibility. Is there an issue of mental illness with people that do that? I would think so. Is it just a lack of attention and they want to have their 15 minutes of fame? I don't think that way. You don't think that way. Most people listening to this program today don't think that way.
Right.
So there's really no way to answer that, but we know it does happen. And that's why we want to minimize. The best example of that is off the subject a little, but Shannon Sherrill, still an unsolved little girl, 1985, was 5 or 6 years old, vanished from her home, never to be seen again. And then it was about 10 years ago, we had a woman call up and say, I think I'm Shannon Sherrill, and I have been abducted. And she was giving all this information. It was very detailed. Well, she had gleaned it all from the internet. Yeah. And this woman had a mental illness. The Sherrill family put them through a living hell, thinking that their long-lost daughter had been found and was alive. And there's no indication that Shannon Sherrill is alive. There's no indication that she's dead. So that's why hope lingers on for the Sherrill family. All because of so much information.
Thanks, Alec.
Right, exactly. And with the internet having so much information, and we're using it ourselves, to get the information out there, but there's some people who can use it, unfortunately, the wrong way.
They certainly can. And the other thing that we haven't touched on, our show sponsor, the Indiana State Police Alliance. It's the Indiana State Police Alliance that is handling the donation funds. Okay. Carroll County is.
Hey, true crime bloke. I wish you luck on your channel. It's a hard place out there, but when you're starting a channel, make sure when you're starting a channel to pick people that are good people. When you're starting one, somebody that has a good reputation out there, okay? Because you're starting off in the absolute worst place imaginable, okay? Now I'm just telling you that for your own good. You can do whatever you want. But everybody just quit. Hey, true crime bloke, talk about the case or I'm going to block you, okay? Because we're moving on now. I just explained to you something. You can take that for what you want, but you need to move on and start talking about the case, all right? Awesome. Excellent. God. All right, so let's get back to this.
Is the lead investigating agent.
And after this, I'm going to play the Holman interview that's 24 minutes long, and let's see if there's stuff now when you think back how it fits into this new story.
Right. But they had no way to have anything set up. Something that the State Police Alliance reached out and said, "Hey, we think we could do that." They run a number of accounts for
could be true crime.
They're a 501(c) corporation.
Now the new information.
So they are taking on that responsibility. And we're hopeful to receive that tip that leads to an arrest, that will lead to a conviction of the person or persons responsible for this, and we'll gratefully write that reward check out.
So how many different agencies are involved in this investigation right now?
We've got about 25 different agencies. Again, Carroll County is the lead investigative agency, but also a lot of resources from the FBI, a lot of resources from Indiana State Police, and then just the private citizens and corporations that have come forward. You heard me mention the rewards up to $200,000. A week or so ago, it was at a little over $100,000. And Pat McAfee, former punter for the Indianapolis Colts, came forward and was getting ready to make a sizable donation. And Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, reached out and said, "Pat, whatever you do, I'm going to match." And the next thing we had, a $200,000 donation. We've had public service announcements. The FBI, the resources that they're bringing forward, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of billboards across the nation that have the information on Libby and Abby on the billboard and the image of the person we're looking for.
Yeah, there were people that were saying that there was two people a long time ago, but it was based on nothing because law enforcement always said that there was no social media angle, and that they said that the person that you see on the bridge is the person that they're looking for. They said that 1,000 times. Speculating that there's another person that's all it is, okay? But now that there's the Anthony Schatz case, and people might think that, the dad, people are speculating on the dad and so forth. Now they're back to I think there's two people. Okay, but you're doing what psychics do. Use evidence to come up with that. Now, you could look at that document that we're reading, and sure, it does look like that the dad's mentioned a couple times. It seems kind of weird. It looked like he was trying to get away from the dad, but then he mentions one time that to some of the girls that he communicated with that he and his dad would have sex with some of the girls, so that was kind of weird. So that might imply that, but here's the thing, everybody. Here's the reality. We don't even know at this point if this path that they're on right now will lead to anything. It's just another avenue that they're really interested in, obviously, and they've asked for the public's help. However, it could turn out, oh man, that wasn't it, but we thought it was a good chance. All right, so before we get too carried away with things, let's see how things pan out, like in the next, when they talk to us again in this next week.
So the FBI has brought that to the table. So lots of things have come together, and it is very frustrating to go this period of time without an arrest, but we are resolute in our resolve to solve this case.
I was just looking here on the computer at the billboard that is available, and the tip line 844-459-5786. Again, that's 844-459-5786, and that goes directly to the tip line and that's the best way to.
That's the best way. And if you weren't able to jot that number down, if you go to the Indiana State Police website, the first billboard that comes up on our website is linked to the Delphi murder investigation. If you click that, that will give you the email tip line. It'll give you the 800 number, all that information that if you have a valid tip to pass on to us and how to get it to us.
And I know that this has greatly affected that small community up there.
Oh, it certainly has. I've been up there twice, and it's small town Indiana.
Yeah.
And Delphi is I believe the seat of the county, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a population of less than 3,000 people.
Well, again, just to reiterate, Captain Dave Burson's with me today on the Indiana State Police Show, and we're talking about this senseless crime that happened in Delphi, Indiana, to Abigail Williams, Liberty German. They were senselessly murdered up there in Delphi, Indiana, while dropped off at a walking path, the Monon, which is an abandoned railroad track that they were let off at, and then unfortunately found the next day and had tragically been killed. So we want to get this information out and have hopefully somebody with that piece of information.
We know that there's somebody out there that knows or is strongly suspicious of somebody, and we urge that person not to rationalize it. Provide us that tip. We've got all the resources from what we've talked about today to do it.
Great. Well, you've been listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance. Cops are kids. Captain Dave Burson's been my guest. I appreciate you coming in here and talking about this subject, and let's help this family out in this community. Thank you for listening to the Roadshow. We'll talk to you again next week on the Indiana State Police Roadshow. The Roadshow is out.
All right. Well, I'm going to get to that next one. Hey, thanks, Sooner History. All right. So I sent those comments off to law enforcement over there. Yeah. You'll never see me threaten people like that. I'm just telling, all I want is for someone to be genuine and honest. That's all I've told the guy for years. And then it's just right back at it again. It's just he can't help himself. Every show that you watch, there's always a couple of comments that aren't really, they're just not even close to being accurate. All right. So I did send it off, and whatever it does, right? So, all right, let's see. I'm going to go try to find... I think it's in this folder. Yeah, that's not it. Hey, thanks, WNC Granny 1. Yeah, let me get to the... there's a Holman interview in here. That a lot of people haven't seen, especially people that are new. Here it is. right, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to use
So tell me,
this monitor.
obviously you guys, we see this posted all over online. People want to know how you have all this evidence in this case and still 6 months later, no suspect in custody. What would your answer be to the community?
Well, it's not like on TV. You see on CSI shows that they solve them in 2 commercial breaks. So it takes a lot of time, and we want to be very thorough. So we want to take our time, make sure our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But this is a tough case. There's, I think, alleged a lot of evidence, but really we have very little evidence in this case, and we're working with what we have. We're getting a ton of tips, which helps, but some of those tips are misleading and kind of lead us disarray and get us unfocused from where we're headed. So, but I think it's not from lack of effort. We continue to use all the detectives from state, federal, and local agencies, and we use all the resources that are available, and we're going to continue to do that. We're not going to leave. It's not a cold case because we're still getting information. So we're going to continue to work as hard as we can on this.
To have, and you say you've little evidence, which, I'm not a detective, I don't work with the police, but when you hear, you have the guy's voice, you have that sketch, you've got, possible other audio and video and all these tips, and then maybe the reward money. Is that more than people usually have in a case like this?
Yeah, I think so. I think I say we don't have a lot, but we have more than enough to make a case, but we're just not getting that break yet. We're still getting closer every day. We're eliminating. We're getting a lot of tips on people that didn't do it, and we eliminate those daily. So it's like I said before, it's the needle in the haystack, and we get those tips on so-and-so, and we eliminate them by however we do that, and that just takes another piece of the hay out of the way so we can start focusing, and eventually it's gonna be there. So we keep working, but and I think a lot of people are misled by some of the Facebook postings and social medias, not as helpful as some people might think. So
6 months ago, you got the phone call, and I know you talked about this before. Who called you and said first, Abby Williams and Libby German are missing?
I think I heard it on the radio actually, and then I called the sheriff to see if they needed assistance, and he said, yeah, we're probably going to need some help. That was when they were missing, and then of course we got our helicopter involved, and we were still in the search phase. And then obviously once we located them and knew it was a double homicide, then we called in other resources throughout the state police and then the FBI. And I know we've had just a ton of resources and people volunteered to help, which is good. So that's how that started, and now we're here. We're still working. We're still motivated, and a lot of people, it is stressful. It's a very stressful case, obviously, and it's very easy to get emotionally tied, but I think everybody involved is still doing well. We're still motivated. We're still optimistic that we're going to catch this person that's responsible for this, and we're not letting up or giving in or anything like that. We're stronger than ever. We're actually getting more people involved, so I think the time's coming. We're getting closer every day. I know that's cliche, but we're eliminating people, and we're working harder than ever. So,
and within the first 48 hours of that case, so here you are, you hear it on the radio, you step in, which thank God really that you guys stepped in so quickly, because look how it ended up happening. I mean, first comes out 2 missing girls. You think 2 missing girls in this small town, who would have thought this was ever going to be the case? But what was the investigative work that happened in the first 48 hours, without obviously going into too much detail to put the case in jeopardy?
Well, I think you secure the scene, you start doing area canvass, talk to everybody in the area. We have the crime scene investigators there. Just basic steps that you would do. Collecting video throughout the areas, doing things like that, and just, from ground zero, that's what you would do in any case, start talking to people. You can get out, knocking on doors. We call that an area canvass. So because it's a rural area, we had to kind of stretch that out a little bit, and so we did maybe a general area canvass initially, and then maybe a day or two later we spread that out, come back, make sure, because it was February, so there were still people at vacation or winter snowbirds, they call them, and so there were still some houses that we didn't make contact right away. So But we have now. I mean, we continue to do that, and now 6 months later, we're still getting new tips on people, so we're following up on those. But we have a group of detectives that are assigned to go back and make sure we didn't miss anything, re-review things, and so we're taking it very serious, and we're not going to let anything slip through the cracks. That's our, I think your biggest fear when you're doing an investigation is something might slip through the cracks, and we're not going to let that happen. We have a team of people that keep going back, reviewing, and we're getting there. Like I said, we're working harder than ever, and we're going to continue to work hard.
When did the people come forward that mentioned, because that sketch behind you, it's pretty detailed, like we said, and the guy who did it, and obviously unbelievably talented, because he maybe didn't have a bunch of information, but it's unbelievable what they could come up with, right, and make it into this composite sketch that could end up helping crack the case. But when did those people come forward that said they saw him possibly near the trail?
Well, that's a good question. It's actually compiled. It's not just from one person. So we've had several people say that they saw the person that we identified through the video that we obtained off of Liberty's phone, and we put that out. So once people saw that photo, then they said, "Oh, I saw that guy." Well, we have to determine, is that the guy they saw, first of all, and if it is, then let's work together. So we were getting calls that night and throughout the last couple months. Some people don't watch the news. Some people don't really follow, what's going on. So some of them were sooner than later. But then we took our time with that. We took our time. We interviewed. The composite drawing itself took probably a week and a half to 2 weeks because we wanted to make sure it was exactly right as the people that recalled that. So we have been, I think, getting better tips. Obviously, the first photo is pretty hard to see. It's pixelated pretty bad. And this is pretty detailed, and we want to make sure people know this might not look exactly like the person, but it's going to have the similar facial features. So this is just what the person or persons that we've interviewed over the last several months believe this is what this guy looked like. So, I mean, there's 4 of us in this room right now. If somebody walked in this room for 30 seconds and he left, we'd all have different drawings. But I think the facial features and the major identifiers we would all get right. So that's what we're hoping, that this gives us a little more guidance, a little more not as vague. So, and it's helping. We are getting better tips. We're still getting some not so good tips, I would say, but we're getting a little better tips from this composite drawing.
Is it a few people kind of that possibly saw him? I mean, was there like more than a couple that called in, right?
Yeah, I would say that is a good statement. There's more than a few that said they saw him. Now, like I said, we have to determine there was other people on that trail. Are they actually seeing the guy that is responsible for this, or are they seeing somebody else that was out there walking?
In time frame wise, I mean, how long do you think he was out there that day? I mean, had he just kind of stopped by, tried to find, if he was planning this, tried to find somebody that was walking off the trail and thought, hey, this would be a good target, or was he just out there for a little bit?
I wish I could tell you that. I have theories, but the evidence is pretty, like I said, the evidence doesn't really indicate how long or if he was a traveler or local, and some of that we just speculate on. We can't really say he is or isn't, but we just have to go off the evidence that we have, the composite drawing, the video, the audio, and just continue to rely on the community. I still believe somebody knows what happened. For whatever reason, they won't come forward, and we wish they would, obviously, because this person's probably going to do this again. And I'd hate for that to happen to you or your loved ones. And that's the message I want to get out to the public, is if you do know, for sure you need to let us know so we can possibly stop this from happening again to your daughter or your mother or sister or anybody. Could be brother or father as well. So.
And the personality traits of a person like this, and that's, I think, what people have thought about before. I mean, for him, if there was just one person, and this is the guy, he was able to get both of these little girls in the woods and do these, brutally murder them. Do you think he possibly had done this before?
You could be. I mean, this is kind of our theory or speculation. We have no evidence that he's done it again there. But we do keep that in mind. We do check with other states to see if they have anything close. And obviously the case in Iowa is probably the closest, but they don't even know the cause of death in that one because they didn't find the victims until later. So it's hard to compare, but it is similar. But so we take that into consideration as well, and we have investigated that. We've been in contact with Iowa, and they've been in contact with us, and we've discussed that. But nothing else seems to be popping up around the nation or that is similar to this. But doesn't mean he's going to kill everybody the same way every time. So we don't know.
When you walked down, and I walked through, you know, that was private property, right, where the bodies were found, looking at logistically from, you know, where they were on the bridge and then to where their bodies were found. I know we talked about the terrain in the past. I mean, it's not an easy thing to navigate. Usually you might have to be familiar with the area. I mean, would it have been difficult for the girls to travel from where they were on the bridge to where they were found?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be difficult. Obviously, they have to go through some pretty steep terrain and wooded area, sticker bushes and things like that. So it's and then to cross the creek, I mean, obviously is February is probably not the warmest. It was a warm day that day, but still the water temperature is probably cooler than the air temperature. So yeah, it would have been difficult for. I mean, I don't think anybody would say, hey, let's on a walk would walk that way. So.
Walking back that way, I mean, and I wasn't even there when you guys found all these horrible things, probably at the crime scene. But even just walking through that area, you get like an eerie feeling, and you kind of almost feel sick to your stomach because you think about what Abby and Libby went through, what their families are going through, and the fact that, you know, he's still out there. When you had to go to the crime scene like that, I mean, you've covered, I'm sure, dozens of murder cases, but this has probably been one of the hardest for you, having kids as well. I mean, did you get a sick feeling as soon as you had to go over there?
Oh yeah, I think everybody, obviously when two young girls are brutally murdered and you're there to investigate it and see what you have to see and do what you have to do, you become emotionally tied to it, and you think about your family and friends, and but I think what keeps me going is I try, I've said this a million times, you try to put yourself in these families' shoes and you just can't do it. I can't imagine what they're going through. So I try to put my emotions aside and focus on the evidence and focus on how can we bring justice for Abby and Libby and for the families.
Hey, I just want to comment on Kara in here. She's obviously a troll. You know, Smee said, hey, Gray, I can't donate. I don't want people to contribute to the channel unless they can afford it and want to help out. Okay, but Kara is obviously being a troll in there. Come on, guy, give your money to Gray. Listen, people on this channel that are sending in super chats, every single one of them knows that they're helping my channel out and charities. Okay, so what Kara doesn't know or doesn't really give a shit about is that we've donated $41,500 so far this year. Okay, and that's just kind of, it's just sort of weird when you see somebody like that that's so clueless, and she thinks, don't worry, YouTube he'll make money off of you just being here. Hey, put a 1 in there if you're a YouTuber and you think or anybody at all, if you think you make a ton of money on ads on YouTube. The answer is no. If you're a live show like mine, there is almost no revenue coming in from ad revenue. Now, if you're a YouTuber that makes videos and you have, you know, over like 200,000 subs and you get a lot of views, then you actually can bring in a revenue. But on this channel, every single person knows that when they're sending in super chats, literally pennies. It's ridiculous. Well, no, Kara, then quit writing. When you're typing stuff in, don't type the way that you're typing in. Use your brain a little bit better next time, okay? Because the way you wrote it, there isn't really another way to take it. So anyways, we've made a huge difference on this channel, and I wouldn't be able to do the show if the channel wasn't bringing in revenue, and there's no way in hell I could justify spending another 40 hours a week on a second job if it was just staring at the screen blankly and there was nothing there. You know, it's just, it's so amazing. And here's another thing too. I don't begrudge any YouTuber making money doing YouTube or in the true crime genre. All I ask is that you're honest and put out the truth as best you can when you're making money on true crime. Because nobody out here, all of the holier-than-thou jackasses who complain about YouTubers making money, never once will go and picket HLN or IDTV and say, how dare you, or any of the news channels who will be covering a case and then cut to a commercial break. Do any of you say a damn thing to those people? And the answer is no, because it doesn't bother you, and it shouldn't bother you at all if YouTubers are doing it too, but you feel like you're so entitled and you're so holier than thou, you're virtue signaling everybody. You are a joke. It's okay for YouTubers to make money on YouTube, but what you want to do is also try to make a difference too and give back. And I think I give back way more than almost any other YouTuber I've ever even heard of. Okay, that's just the truth. You give me another YouTuber, even the ones that have millions of subs that donated $41,500 and have the generous freaks that I have that allow me to do it, and you let me know, okay? God, freaking sucks.
I mean, is that going to do it if we make an arrest? I think it will help. I don't think anything can ever bring them back, obviously. I don't think anything can ever make them the things like they were before February 13th. It's never going to happen. But we want to try to bring some closure to the families for the girls. And so even though we're all trained professionals and we've done this many a times, it's still hard. It's still hard to shut your brain off at night and go visit with your grandkids or visit with your family and not think about it constantly. So it's difficult, but we're here for a reason. We're here to find out who did this, and that's what we have to keep telling ourselves and keep being remotivated or motivated to do that. And that's what we're going to do.
That area where the bodies were found too, when we went down there, because you guys kept that crime tape up for a while. I mean, you were still going back down there, right, and retracing the steps and looking for anything that you might have needed to go back, to the scene to check out. So when you went back down there, so that area that was taped off, that area was where the bodies were found then, right? That circular, that taped off place.
Yes.
That's where, when we walked down, obviously all the investigative work had been done and they had taken away any evidence been found. Was there a decent amount of evidence found at the scene?
Oh, I think so. I think...
Yeah, this video is in 2017. Let's see. I don't even know if I have a date on this file. Let's see. I have October 17th as the date that it was modified at one point of 2017, but I don't know if that's when it was filmed, but it's definitely in the 2017 range.
Without getting into detail, I think, like I said, we don't have a lot of evidence, but we do have more than maybe your normal crime scene. We have the evidence there that we're processing and daily and working on. And still, it's been 6 months, but there's different techniques that you can use and things like that. So I'm not a lab person, so I can't, talk in lab language. But
labbies.
But I'm in contact with them weekly, if not daily, and they're telling us, we're still doing this, we're still working on things. So, but yeah, we're it's hard to say without jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation how much evidence we had, or because there's 3 people, in my opinion, maybe more, but at least 3 people that knew what happened that day. 2 of them are dead. So that one person knows the details of the crime. That's why we don't like to talk about the details and what we found, what we didn't find, because when we do get that person and we do talk to them, they're the only ones that are going to know the details of this. And that's another reason why we don't like Facebook putting false information out, because then people believe that, and then they tip off of those details that are false, and it just kind of impedes our investigation a little bit. So,
was DNA evidence found at the scene?
Well, yeah. Obviously that's the tricky question nobody wants to answer, but I think at every crime scene you have, you're going to have DNA. You're going to have the victim's DNA. You're going to probably have victims' families' DNA. Touch DNA is very powerful. So if I touch your shirt today, that DNA could still be there for weeks, if not months. So,
wow, Mag, thank you so much. Mag's, she's one of the biggest supporters I have. That's for sure. Unbelievable, really. She really helps things. On some nights when it's a slow night, it makes a big difference. Other, just behind the scenes too. So, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I mean, there's so many of you that are always donating all the time. So, I know that each month it's, over $100 sometimes. So it's pretty amazing. So I really appreciate it. I mean, it's really the only way to do it. It'd be cool if you had 400 people watching and everybody donated $1. Just a freaking $1 to thank you for doing a show, right? Well, you know how much that would be? I mean, it'd be amazing, right? I could donate 50,000 if that was the case. Easily. But for some reason, it's not like that. But anyways, thank you guys very much.
We're still working on identifying whose all DNA we have there, and we will continue to do that until we determine who all's DNA is at the scene. So
if this guy, thinks he possibly got away with this, and that's one of the things too, I know that you guys are waiting, possibly, he could start talking about it to people, because that's happened in other cases. They think, I got away with it, and then they start trying to brag about it, which is something you guys are following up on every day. But if he thinks he got away with it and thinks he cleaned up the scene, there still could possibly be something that he left behind.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
That's powerful, though, for the community to know, too, because
Right.
they're like, that's, like I know you mentioned, that's a question that nobody really wanted to get too much into when we talked to the sheriff and things, but you mentioned any DNA, and DNA's from the girls, DNA's at the scene just from other things. But that's important that you guys are running that through and working with the lab. And then, is there anything that happened within that first 48 hours when you stepped in, too? Like, you volunteered immediately to have Indiana State Police come in and help out the Sheriff's Department. Is there anything you think that could have been done differently, that could have...
And listen, for all of you that aren't channel members right now, if you'd like to become a channel member, there's one that's even $1.99, and even part of that goes to the charities, all right? So, I've got, I think over, 600 and something channel members, but most of them are in the $1.99 one. So it does bring in income, but not nearly as much as Super Chat. Super Chats is easily the number one way. But anyways, I appreciate everybody. There's some nights where I get sort of frustrated because you put so much time into it and it's just doesn't make people enthusiastic or something. And then there's other nights where, like tonight's a good one, right? It makes up for that other night. But it'd be nice if you could just talk about any case and it was always the same, but it just isn't, But I appreciate all the supporters. I mean, hey, LM, what happened to your green thing? Jeez.
Yeah, LM, what happened to it? Yay!
Oh, there you go. The shack. Anyways, you guys have just been amazing. Obviously, without you guys, we wouldn't have donated 66. What are we at? $63,500 since January 2020. Okay, without you guys, it's not happening. So you guys make it happen, and it's amazing. Thank you, G. Scott Coleman. Thank you very much. And like I say, wow, what happened? Marianne Riddenauer. Thank you. And thank you, G. Scott Coleman. And Marianne Riddenauer said, "Here's to you, Gray, and not taking anyone's shit. You're awesome." I'm sure I'll get some some shit back at me. What it's going to be is they're going to take clips out of a show where maybe I was mean to somebody or this or that or the other thing, and put it all together. And they'll, it's just what they do every single time. And it's never about what I'm talking about. So if you notice, what I criticized today was about the content mentioned, right? And so when I get attacked, it's always about trying to make me look bad by pointing out these different things and editing them out of context. We've seen it many times, and I'm sure it'll come out, because Greeno's got some henchmen out there. The people that are supposed to be real chill aren't really chill whatsoever at all. If you see what they say behind the scenes, you wouldn't think that at all. You can send me an email, Darren S., to grayhuze2@gmail.com.
put the case in jeopardy in those, in the beginning stages?
Absolutely. I think, when you Monday
Is that
morning
it? Or
quarterback
tips? Is that
you
it?
could have possibly done a little better, a little quicker.
I don't even
now.
know what the type is.
Is there anything we did or didn't do that jeopardized this case? No. I think that with the FBI and the county and the state and all the resources that we've used, there's really nothing that we could have done.
That's right, Saturn you've called in before.
But, I'm my own worst critic, so are there things we could have done better? Yeah, absolutely, and that's every case.
And I've been working on not being as bad.
To learn from that, and again, like I said, we didn't do anything or not do anything to jeopardize the case, but are there things that we could do better? Yeah. So, as Jay Harper with the state police, the lead investigator, we have Tim Kendall also with the state police, the lead investigator, and then my job is to kind of manage this. So I've been trying to manage this from day one. With the county, with the FBI.
Weird.
So that's an obstacle in itself, trying to manage something this big. But we've had plenty of guidance from all of our supervisors and such a great team. I mean, we obviously have gotten along with Carroll County pretty well. And unfortunately, through other incidents, it's happened because life doesn't stop. So unfortunately, we still get major crime scenes that we have to assist with here. And manpower issues, I mean, we all have them. The county shorthanded, the state police shorthanded, FBI, everybody needs more. So if you're out there, apply for the state police next time. We definitely need help.
Yeah, need some new recruits. Tell me, with the audio, which we heard, I remember the first time that was played at that press conference, and that was, bone chilling to know that you're going to be able to hear this person's voice, even though it was just that tiny clip.
He even went to the FBI. Holman did for a while
to as well, but
get some training from the FBI.
What has that been able to do for the case, having that voice out there?
Well, I think it's helped a lot. Obviously, it's a distinctive voice. We've been getting a lot of tips off of that.
Hey.
Unfortunately, the people that people think it is, we've been able to eliminate them. Not all of them, but most of them we can eliminate through checking records and things like that. So, but I think it's helped
Kathy
quite a
Fried
bit.
Maker.
And I think as we
Kathy
get
Fried
into
Maker.
this deeper, it's going to help us even more. So,
is there more audio that was found on Libby's phone?
yes.
Is that something that would be released?
Not at this point. We've discussed it, and at this point, we don't think it'll help the investigation at this time. It doesn't appear to be anything more than some discussions between the girls and things like that. So, and we've only released a portion of it. There's some others that we think could help us, but again, protecting the integrity of the investigation is the key here. So we can't release everything we have because there's only certain people that know the details. And if we release everything, then we get into possible false confessions and people over exaggerating and embellishing the information and put it on Facebook like we already battle with. So we can only give so much.
Facebook thing, I know that's been that's had a huge effect too on the family. And that's probably a few years ago.
Hey, thank you, Jamie Lynn.
And a decade ago, that wouldn't even have been a
Did inquiries.
Has that interfered with the case?
Absolutely. I talked to some of the older
It's
investigators. They didn't have to deal with that. When I talk about some of the stresses of social media, I've had tip on me from interviewing with other stations. Absolutely.
Do you think that's crazy? See, there's actually people out there that look at his face and say, look, he looks just like the bridge guy. He doesn't look anything like him. If you have a mind that works whatsoever, he doesn't look anything like this person over here. Okay? But imagine that. You're this guy right here, Jerry Holman, Sergeant Jerry Holman, and you get turned in by the lunatics on social media. Because here, you want to know something, everybody? I was turned in too. Guess why I was turned in? Well, first of all, Gray doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Gray doesn't know shit, man. He's full of crap. He doesn't know shit. And then all of a sudden I get turned in to the Facebook, Indiana State Police Facebook tip area. And they said, well, why are you turning him in? Because he knows too much. Well, which one is it? Okay. Which one is it? And so when I heard about it, I went over there and I couldn't believe it. I was looking at it because it's on Facebook. So then I posted the video, my first Flow of the Crime video. It actually turned out it was the greatest thing in the world. Thank you, guys. Because I turned that in. I put the video to YouTube. I posted it on there. And one of the police officers saw it and went, wow. And then sent it to Robert Ives. And that's when he contacted me and, sort of developed a cordial, relationship with a few of these men. And it's just, but it's amazing that people do crap like that. Hey, thanks, Dark Side. Oh, I didn't see it. So it was where was that? Oh yeah, so Vid Inquiries started a wave up there. And then Jamie Lynn. Then we got Sooner History, One Sly Angel, Eugenie, Dark Side, Shogun Love, Tina Susser, Amber Maiden, Zozo, Ozzy, Trisha. There you go. All in order.
We've had tips on other police officers for whatever reason. We've had people that do their blogs without false information, and then if I tell them that's false, and then they embellish and tell people that I'm giving out details of the case.
Well, we know somebody that does that.
I will try to squash any rumors that people call and ask about without jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation.
Amber Maiden, Melinda Moda Maiden.
I can't imagine
you guys
what the family's
related?
going through just because of the incident. But now you have social media with all these rumors and false implications that just got to be driving them crazy. And I talk to the family quite a bit and try to tell them, don't believe everything you hear on social media. I think it could be positive, but what I would say is instead of posting on Facebook, call us before and let us investigate it, because once you put it out there and it is false, then it interferes with our investigation and it bogs us down, because then people start tipping off of false information and we follow up on every tip. So I think social media is a challenge for us. And we're trying to utilize it to the best of our abilities, but it is definitely something that interferes with our investigations at times.
How often do you listen
Hey, thanks,
to the
Carrie and
audio
Cheyenne.
clip? I mean, you probably listen to the full one, but is that something that kind of gives you, when you're feeling down or you're feeling like, all right, here I am 6 months later, we have all these people working the case, you've put, your whole life has pretty much been...
Oh, you're saying, do you think only one sketch has a hoodie? Oh, wait, why do you think only one sketch has a hoodie and a hat? Well, because the first sketch, I was told, the very first one released with the guy that you see up here was based off of the video and a witness. The second one was based off of mainly a witness. Hey, look at Incognito Society. He's been a freak for 6 months. MUNTS. Thank you, Carrie B, Cheyenne R, and then Carol Keesaw's been a member for 4 months. True Crime with Eve, thank you. Patty Barnett, Paul Hallett, thank you very much. Correct. No, it's actually Korecht, like that.
Consumed by this. So, I mean, when you try to listen to that guy's voice again and look at that picture, does that kind of...
I think they're going to catch the Bridge Maniac before the Blazers. We suck right now.
give you more momentum to be like, I'm going to find you?
I think every time I close my eyes.
When's your birthday, Carolina girl?
Wait a minute, are you calling me in for another birthday?
Yes, Mary Lou. We get you in here to do the birthdays. Okay, so you got to do a birthday for Carolina girl, okay?
Happy birthday to Carolina girl. Happy birthday to Carolina girl. Happy birthday, dear Carolina girl. Happy birthday to you.
Mary Lou, that was. Have you been smoking those low carb cigarettes again?
No, Gray, but I've been smoking the ones with retin in it.
What is retin? Oh, you said retin after that. Yeah, retin. You mean like what's in certs?
Yeah.
Well, why would you smoke a cigarette that has retin in it? That's weird.
Okay, great. I'm on gluten-free cigarettes then.
Okay, that's better. All right. Well, anyways, happy birthday, and thank you, One Sly Angel. And Angela Vincent. Yeah, come on, Angela. I saw your email a few minutes ago. I was like, that was pretty funny. Oh, shit.
I hear the audio and I see the picture. I don't have to listen to it because I have listened to it a million times. But yeah, it definitely remotivates us to think about that. So yeah, it's there.
Do you think he thinks he got away with it?
Oh yeah, I think probably, but he didn't. We'll catch him. I mean, we're like I said, it's not from lack of effort, and we will continue to put all the effort that we have available and utilize all the resources that we have until we catch the.
Well, it's not way older, Carolina girls.
This is something that I wanted to ask about the audio clip. You mentioned that there's discussions and things like that. Can you say if the recording was going when the murder happened?
I would say I can't divulge that just to protect the integrity of the investigation.
Resources, you said you've never seen so many resources, FBI, ATF, local, state, federal authorities all coming in. I mean, you had all those people coming from Quantico and try to help with the behavioral analysis, and that was also interesting in the beginning. Did that help? Did that bring you guys maybe to a stage where you think you kind of know more about this guy?
Well, I think so. You know, the FBI's brought their behavioral analysis unit to give us more information. You know, we utilize...
And thanks, Angela Vincent, for the PayPal. Should I tell this story? I'll just tell it because it was kind of funny, right? So Angela, in my PayPal account, there was a message that said, Angela Vincent is requesting $10. So I just sent it to her, and then I said, hey, I hope I didn't do something wrong, you know. And then she said, oh, well, that was, I didn't mean to do that. But see how I just paid it? You know, I didn't really just, you know, cause any issues or anything. I just wanted to know if I made her upset about something. But she didn't mean to do that. And then she just sent me a PayPal that more than made up for that. So thank you very much.
Social media, people just, you know, looking at social media. Like I said, it's bad.
That's pretty
but we
funny.
can also gather a lot of information about people from the social media. Our digital media recovery specialists that, you know, we get all the information off of computers for us and cell phones, and yeah, it's just a ton.
Let's hear that part.
Ton of resources, that information.
Resources, you said you've never seen so many resources, FBI, ATF, local, state, federal authorities all coming in. I mean, you had all those people coming from Quantico and try to help with the behavioral analysis, and that was also interesting in the beginning. Did that help? Did that bring you guys maybe to a stage where you think you kind of know more about this guy?
Well, I think so. You know, the FBI's brought their behavioral analysis unit to give us more information. You know, we utilize social media, people just, you know, looking at social media. Like I said, it's bad, but we can also gather a lot of information about people from the social media. Our digital media recovery specialists that, you know, we get all the information off of computers.
No, you
for
are,
us,
Angela.
Cell
You're
phones,
awesome.
and yeah, it's just a ton of resources that we were able to utilize through state, local, and federal.
Was her cell phone, I mean, are you surprised he didn't try to take the cell phone or take any of the evidence with him?
Was I surprised
that he didn't try to take it? I mean, you would think that if that had, maybe he didn't know.
See, now she's getting into areas where he's a little bit uncomfortable.
You know, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore after doing this job for a while, but, you know, who knows what he was thinking or what he knew. You know, we don't know that, so.
But it was all pretty, like, you didn't have to go, like, searching through the woods. All that stuff was kind of left in that area, right?
That's a fair statement, the general area.
Then going to tips.
Beholder put it in, not me.
Thousands of tips, thousands of dollars in reward money. How many people have you guys interviewed?
Well, I would say probably thousands of people. depends on what you consider an interview. A lot of people may say that's a little smaller, but we did area canvas, so we interviewed probably 600 people that were driving through the area. We stopped, talked to them. We've contacted numerous people to talk to them, and I would consider those interviews. So as far as formal, if you're audio video recording somebody, is that a formal interview? Probably 400 or 500-ish. But that we have talked to thousands of people on this case.
The last thing, do you think that he was from Delphi?
I really don't know. I think for obvious reasons, I think he had to know the area. Was he from here, visiting, or been here? I mean, I don't know, but you mentioned earlier the terrain and that area that this incident occurred. For somebody just to go out there and be able to do what he did and leave, you would think he either got real lucky and walked the right way to get out with nobody seeing him, or drove or flew or who knows how he left the scene, or he knew the area. So
Was the weapon left at the scene?
I don't want to answer that at this time. So.
Anything else you want to add? I already asked you pretty much everything.
I think so. I think that's it.
He was like, "Can I get the hell out of here?" Then he asked another one.
It should be captured on the phone. Was there prior video of the girls together before that, or do you think they felt danger from this person, and that's why she recorded that clip of him?
Both.
See, this is an interesting part here for everybody that wants to know about the video. He's asked in the background. They filmed him. Was there any other video on the phone? Okay. Was there other video that was on the phone? And he says.
Both. There were pictures and they went out there to take pictures on the bridge, and there was pictures and video, but it appeared.
See, there's other pictures and other videos that they filmed. Because they're out there to film. It wasn't just the one video at the end of the bridge. There was other video prior to that, and they've looked through all of that.
Years that, and this has been said before, that Liberty had enough senses to realize that something wasn't right, and she started that video because she felt uncomfortable. Both girls were uncomfortable.
Yep. Crazy, huh?
And I think that's why. But they were out there taking pictures.
Now watch the next question. He's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of just done."
Was the clip like several minutes long?
I don't know exactly how long it is, but
yeah.
Did she shut it off, or was it just?
See, he said, she's asking great questions. Okay, they're ones that we all want answers for. She asked, how long was this video? And then he says, did she turn it off, or?
I don't want to talk about how that right now.
I'm not really gonna.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that is going to be it. I just wanted to get those out there. Burston definitely seemed to. It might be interesting to listen to. We have an interview with Doug Carter that was in the podcast, and also the one with Robert Ives. Maybe we can do that on another day. Just listen to the 40-minute interview with Robert Ives, the prosecutor at the time, and then listen to maybe what Doug Carter said when he was being interviewed by Kelsey for our podcast. She also helped us out with that too. So, anyways, look at the dogs right there. They're like, "Gray, are you done? We want to move around." So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like I said before, I think, I do think Reno makes good videos, and he's good at editing and things like that. I just want there to be, just put out the truth. Don't try to, make yourself appear grandiose to everybody. Just be honest, all right? Because it's just not reality. So, anyways, appreciate everybody for being here and supporting the channel. Definitely made up for yesterday. That's for damn sure. And so thank you. From the very beginning, it was the Silver Leaf, and then Diana Beck, I think, Beque, And then Jen H. Don't forget to put out the positive vibes for Jen H. Going through some medical stuff right now. She could use everybody's prayers. Make sure she gets through everything good. All right. And then Candalee Woodward Stone. Chrissy. Mrs. Ryan. Eugenie. Mom of 4. Susie Mack. Awaken Rising. Ange Tech's son, Lori Fisher, Your Gypsy, S Friend, and then So Kind, Alice Patak, and then Mag with a cat eye donation. Here, you know what you should do? Let me get my new sound effect. This one. on the cat eyes. Philly, Cairo. Didn't see him chatting much, but he popped in. Nona 617, Maggie B, H Doc, and then So Kind's been a member for 3 months, and Rita Schaefer, Tracy Nixon been a member for 7 months, Dark Side, Rita Schaefer, and then Mag with a double cat eye, and then Bree Rice, Shelly Ann. Then Shogun Love, B Mountains, Darlene Brown, Cindy Leon, Angie Pangie, and then we've got Vid Inquiries has been a member for 8 months. I Am Veritas, a new member. Freya, Jenny Jennifer, and then D&K Rex been a member for 8 months, and Courtney Robb for 10 months. Billy Juliana. Karen Watton, Alley Cat, Dark Side, Christine Falk, Sooner History, WNC Granny 1, D&K Reck, Lorca, Keisha Koo, Ozzy Trisha, Shogun Love, yep, that's an actual name, Y-E-P, yep. And then Mag with another cat eye, WNC Granny 1 has been a new member, and then Trevis, and then G. Scott Coleman cat eye, Marianne Ridenour cat eye, and then Shadowbox, a new member, Kathy Friedemaker, and welcome to all the new channel members. Kathy Friedemaker, Vid Inquiries, Jamie Lynn, Sooner History, One Sly Angel, Eugenie, Dark Side, Shogun Love, Tina Susser, Amber Maiden, Zozo, Ozzy Trisha, Melinda Moto Maiden. Melinda Moto Maiden. That's hard to say. M&M's, Triple M. Shadowbox. Paul Hallett has been a member for 10 months. Carrie B. Cheyenne R. Carol Keesaw, 4 months. True Crime with Eve EP, the one I was flipping crap to the other day. Thank you. And then Patty Barnett, Paul Hallett, Incognito Society has been a member for 6 months. Carolina Girl, Angela Vincent, One Sly Angel, Anthony Galvez, and Brenda R is a channel member in the Oogla Boogla Freak. All right. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Welcome to all the channel members, and thank you very much for all the super chats. Definitely made up for there was 2 kind of slow nights in a row there covering the Martin family, but it was a very interesting case. By the way, you should go check it out. No problem, Dennis Yarg. All right. So we will we'll see you guys tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I'll be definitely on again. I do shows I do shows 7 days a week with a rare day off, like once, maybe twice, 3 times a year at the most. Usually when I have a surgery or some kind of something like that. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And we need to have an arrest made in this case. So I'm really hopeful that this new line of inquiry that they're on leads to the person or persons involved in the murders of Abby and Libby it would be great for everybody. There's a whole tons of reasons why it'd be great to have it solved. Okay, so that is it, everybody. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Oh, by the way, thank you to all the mods. You guys were very busy tonight, as you almost always are on Delphi shows. And I really appreciate you guys. You're awesome. You're the unsung heroes, as well as the Patreon members. They're the unsung heroes. So thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, be safe out there. And a 2 and a... Oh, and welcome, Pippins.
Hey, what happened?
Time I have not seen.
Oh, there it is. It's really slow though, right? What's going on? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Crime dissector, like rejector. Yeah, just wait a minute. Sometimes it takes a while to kick in. Gonna get ya on a stretcher.
Hey, that's Lori. That's Lori Baba.
Projector.
Go Lori, go Lori, go Lori, go Lori, go Lori.
Freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've attempted to fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody.
Hey, all right. Got about 3 minutes, you guys.
Well, who cares how many minutes you have, Mary Lou?
Well, they came here to watch me, not you.
Oh, okay.
Right, stop. Collaborate and listen. That's a back with a brand new invention. Something got the hood on tightly, flows like a harpoon, baby, and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I let the mic like a vandal, light up the stage and light the chump like a candle. Dance, as as big as a boom, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly, when I play a little melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it, leave it, better get right. Better hit those that a kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook when my DJ revives it. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the figures up pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking them seeds like a pound of bacon, burning them, ain't quick and nimble, go crazy when you hear the cymbal with a hi-hat, with a souped-up tempo, when I roll, I'm go solo, rolling, in the 5.0, my back top down, so my hair can blow, everybody's on standby, waiting just to say hi, did you stop? No, just rolled on, kept on, first to the next stop, about the left, I'm headed to the next block. Like a tip jar, second turn to A1A. Detroit Avenue. Hot man, Mr. McGeenie, rock man, well from a Lamborghini. Jealous of a mountain line. Shay was a K to the middle was a 9.
Gunshots, aged out like a ball. I rub it on the hood was shell.
Fall in on the concrete real fast, jump in my car, slammed on the gas. Bubba, Avenue's top, trying to get away from the Jackie's cat. Push on the scene, know what I mean? They bust me up in front of all the things. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook when my DJ revives it. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Trouble in the story, the sound of what I heard. 40s on my running when it's dying first. It was on my hand and he was on my tip. His subject was right, yes, your first sip. He's second, I got some, I said we make a run. Not a chance I run, got a shotgun. Pick around the draw, thought I'd be dead. Put the gun to my head, I wasn't what I said. Name is Simpson, yeah, got a license to kill. Hope you know what time it is, the time to get ill. Got the way I'm here, I'm going is here. One was trying to run, so I'll make myself clear. Are you done, Mary Lou? No, I'm just getting started.
Oh, please, we gotta be done at this point.
Gosh, you guys are so mean. Okay, I guess the show's over, gee.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it was a 3-hour and 40-minute show, okay? But I'm sorry that the show's ended for you, Mary Lou.
But Gray, I wanted to do some more rapping, gee. You're always so mean to your subs.
Oh my God. Wow. Listen, Mary Lou, you got to be a little bit nicer to people, all right? Like John Boy and Timmy have never done anything wrong to you, and you're always so mean to them.
What do you mean, Gray? I'm always nice to him.
Are you really that upset?
No, not really.
She faked us all again, everybody. Faked us all again. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.